his political future. The 81-year-old is back in Delaware isolating with COVID-19 after being forced to cancel a campaign event in Nevada. Former US President Barack Obama has privately expressed concerns about the current leader's candidacy. Former Biden advisor Jamie Metzl says pressure is mounting on Mr Biden to drop out of the presidential race.
The dam is starting to burst. We have Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Obama. Everybody is now pushing in the same direction. It's my personal view that it's only a matter of time before President Biden makes this announcement. I frankly feel he has no other choice.
A cyber attack on an online prescription service is believed to have affected around 13 million Australians. Hackers threatened to release the personal data and health information of MediSecure customers in May. It's now believed to be one of the nation's largest hacks on record. The federal government is facing increasing pressure to fund dental services for senior Australians. Labor has turned down a seniors dental benefits schedule, which would provide funded dental care for more than 200,000 aged care residents. Australian Dental Association Chief Executive Ethne Irving says seniors deserve equal access to oral care.
This is a program that can be run over a long period of time. It will actually see cost-saving benefits down the track. And the ADA is more than willing to sit down with government and help them to develop this plan into something that is workable.
A legal firm priding itself on defending the rights of workers has underpaid its own staff around $300,000. A payroll manager picked up a 10-year miscalculation of holiday pay at Slater and Gordon. The chief executive says it's disappointing and there are no excuses, with consultants Caudamentha reviewing what went wrong. A new study has revealed more alcohol products are being health washed, with claims of being vegan, low carb or having no added sugar. Research by the Cancer Council conducted over a 10-year period, which looked at the labelling of more than 4,000 alcohol products, has found virtue marketing claims have jumped by 19% and nearly 1 in 3 new products feature a nutrition claim. The Cancer Council's Dr Ashley Haynes says it's a dodgy tactic targeting health-conscious consumers.
We know that these claims can give alcohol products a halo, making them sound like a healthier or an ethical purchase when they're really not. They distract consumers from the not-so-healthy consequences of alcohol consumption, and the reality is that alcohol is harmful to health and increases cancer risk, and that's why we're concerned.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Corey Norris.
Good morning, Jess. The Crows will rest veteran Taylor Walker for tonight's clash against Essendon at Marvel Stadium following 2 6-day breaks. Defender Mitch Hughes will return from a groin injury. They'll be aiming to cause an upset against the Bombers side that's in a bit of a form slump.
Now, if you look at a lot of our numbers, we're playing a brand of footy that's going to give you a really good opportunity to win every game that you play. There aren't huge fluctuations, but at different stages this year we haven't been able to execute as we would like. So it's constant work in progress in that space, but I think the foundation is really solid.
Essendon coach Brad Scott. Injuries has forced Port Adelaide into 4 changes for Saturday night's clash against Richmond. Willie Rioli and Asava Radicalea have been recalled after impressive stints in the Sandful. Both Toby Bedford and Charlie Cameron have had their 3-match bans overturned on legal technicalities. They're both free to play this weekend. Former player Jimmy Bartell says when you get to this point of the process, it's all about legal argument.
For people who are unaware, when you go to the appeals board, so post-tribunal, so MRO, Tribunal Appeals Board, it is pretty much just arguing legal terms because that's all you can really debate. If you can prove that there were some elements of that was incorrect, well then you are free to play.
Adam Scott is the best of the Australians late in the opening round of the British Open at the Royal Troon Golf Club. He's 1 under after his first round, 4 behind leader Shane Lowry. American Justin Thomas is sitting in 3rd place on 3 under. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Thanks, Corey. Now the FIVEAA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Rain developing, windy and 14 today. Showers with wind easing and 15 tomorrow. 16 with a shower or 2 for Sunday. Right now it's 11 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
Drums, please. Unprecedented, unparalleled, unrivaled. For the very first time, Edwardstown Mazda is offering discounts greater than 10% on all Mazda demonstrator models. Every demo, every model with a minimum discount of 10%. Plus a minimum trade-in of $2,000 on your old vehicle. This offer is exclusive to Edwardstown Mazda.
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
Eliminate the middleman with JB Caravans. JB Caravans are a factory direct caravan dealership and they're having their grand opening sale next week from Thursday to Sunday. Check out full off-road hybrids from $79,990 and Aussie-made touring vans from $74,990, as well as incredible deals on off-road vans, Iveco motorhomes and cash and carry gear. Don't miss JB Caravans grand opening sale, July 25 to 28, 11 to 37 Port Wakefield Road, Jeps Cross, or visit jbcaravans.com.au.
Welcome to Life's Key Moments, brought to you by First National Real Estate.
A key to my home where my furry friends are always welcome.
The key to endless adventures in my retirement.
The key to growing our own veggies and plenty of space for the kids to play.
The key to living the dream away from the big smoke.
The kids and girls night
Every night. Your key to happiness awaits. Visit firstnational.com.au or call 1800 032 332. First National Real Estate. We put you first.
It's Milton from Vidaldus Garden Centre. On July 28th, Vidaldus Garden Centre is closing its doors for the final time. All stock must be cleared at up to 40% off, so come in and grab a bargain. Plants, pots, gifts, homewares and outdoor furniture. It's all got to go at up to 40% off. Vidaldus Garden Centre's closing down sale. On now while stocks last till July 28th. Main North Road, Gawler, opposite the racecourse.
It's our first Christmas in July at Wayville Hyundai, and we're inviting you to join us by popping a gift under our Christmas tree for Kickstart for Kids. Together, we can help. Change the way you Hyundai at Wayville Hyundai, opposite the showground.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
Nine minutes after 6. Good morning to you on this Friday. Will Goodings, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Luce. Good to be here. Always good on a Friday. And if you like storms, which I know you particularly do, Luce, this is the Friday of your dreams. I had a quick look at the forecast before we came in. We were talking about when the weather's going to come in. And whilst it might start raining early, the real fun sounds like it's going to be tonight. Chance of hail. The wind picks up in a serious way. 40 to 50 k's an hour this evening. You combine that with decent rain, and we should still have a decent amount around then because we could get up to 25 mils today. It could be one heck of an evening.
A severe weather warning was issued 1 hour ago. Top priority for immediate broadcast.
All right.
It reads, severe weather warning for damaging winds especially. So just keep an eye out for the Bureau of Meteorology. If that impacts you, but it looks like it's going to impact a fair bit of the state. Adelaide Metro, Mount Lofty Ranges, KI, parts of the West Coast, Lower Eyre Peninsula, York Peninsula, the Mid-North, the Murray Lands, the Upper South-East and the Lower South-East districts. That's a fair bit of our coastline and into the Mid-North, which is exactly where I'm heading straight after the show. I'm hoping I can duck to the farm and beat the weather. So we shall see. Nothing like hail on an old farmhouse roof. Let me tell you to go to sleep.
Sounds magnificent.
I will be not sleeping.
It does sound like the hills will be the area where it gets windiest in the wider metropolitan sort of area. So if you're in the hills, batten down the hatches.
On the show today, big Friday show it is, Meat Tray Friday, of course, all thanks to Chanel's. We'll get to a topic in a moment, and it is related to the US election. We'll get to that in a moment. Jade Robran out on the streets for us this morning, hopefully before the weather hits for Jade. Michael Packey out of Canberra with the week in federal politics. Dan Houston for Port fans. Port are playing Saturday night at Adelaide Oval against Richmond. And, of course, Feedback Friday today. You can text us as well all morning, 0448 08 13 95 on the Duttons text line. All new Trident in stock for immediate delivery with great driveway deals at Duttons, Mitsubishi, Murray Bridge. I don't know if you know this, Will. Today's World Lamington Day.
I was not aware it was World Lamington Day. What's the way to celebrate World Lamington Day? One Lamington? Two Lamingtons?
Five?
5 Lamingtons? Maybe it's impolite to ask how many Lamingtons you eat on World Lamington Day.
Sorry, I've just been told the official day is Sunday, but we're not at work on Sunday, so
okay,
we're treating it as today.
We're bringing it forward. You can have 2 Lamington days this year.
Well, Leith celebrated it yesterday, so therefore we've had 3 Lamington days, but that's fine. That's
Crikey,
fine.
5AA is throwing its full weight behind Lamington Day this year, isn't it?
5AA, the Lamington station. That's all right. We'll be joined by Sharon from Kyton's Bakery, of course. That's how we celebrate Lamington Day.
I bet we would have listeners, and some of them would be more bashful than others, that would lay claim to making the best Lamington on planet Earth. If you've got a good Lamington recipe, let us know.
Secret ingredient. Is it a traditional Lamington with the jam in it or not in it?
There's a good question.
Because I'm not a fan of the jam in the Lamington. I don't believe it needs to be there, but happy to be proven wrong. 8223 0000.
Come on, Lamington aficionados. Today and yesterday and Sunday is your day to shine.
If you don't want to call in about Lamingtons, but you want to call in about Meat Tray Friday instead, you can, of course, do that all morning thanks to Chanella's My Local Butcher. Liam, Joanna and the team at My Local Butcher. Chanella's, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. Now, Will, you've dreamt up this one, taking inspiration from Ron DeSantis in the States.
Yeah, that's right. The Republican National Convention at the moment, Ron DeSantis, a one-time Republican presidential nominee. At one point in time, I think he's polling very early in the piece, was ahead of Donald Trump, which feels hard to believe, or at least it was quite close. He fell out of the race, fell by the wayside, but still delivered this zinger about Joe Biden the other day, which drew a big laugh, actually, from Donald Trump.
We need a commander-in-chief who can lead 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
He's not the first person to make the weekend at Bernie's joke about Joe Biden. Hilarious movie, Weekend at Bernie's, and it's endured as a pop culture reference point for how utterly absurd the entire thing is. Isn't it one you haven't seen, Weekend at Bernie's, have you, Luce?
No, but it's on the list for somewhere in
this
year, depending what year it is.
You're aware that the concept is, though.
Yeah, oh yeah. As a corpse being treated as not a corpse.
That's exactly right. They have to try and keep it up for all intents and purposes. Had to act like he's still alive, and it's quite comical and quite funny. Less so when you're talking about the person running the free world and leading our most important ally on planet Earth. But it did get us thinking, as we were talking during the program yesterday or the day before. Which Australian politician reminds you of a movie character? Which Australian politician reminds you of a movie character? 8223 0000. You can text us on the Duttons text line as well. That's our Meat Tray Friday question. Ron DeSantis' entry would be, if he was calling in, Joe Biden reminds me of the Weekend at Bernie's character. Which Australian politician reminds you of a movie character? And you could be walking away with a meat tray this morning.
Any politician that springs to mind, doesn't have to be the big hitters such as Albo and Peter Dutton.
Could be local, could be South Australian.
Yep.
That's right, it could be from a minor party.
Could be everyone's favourite Queensland MP, Bob Katter.
Could be Bob Katter. I'm not sure he can capture Bob Katter in film. He's one of those characters he's so much larger than life. I think if you did him on screen, people would go, well, this isn't believable. There's no way this guy existed.
Wouldn't do him justice.
But I'm guessing if you were doing which movie character Bob Katter reminds you of, it'd be someone from a movie out of the Old West, I think. I'm not quite sure which one it'd be.
Is that purely based on the big hats that
I think
he wears?
The big hat and his demeanour.
Yeah.
He's sort of got a bit of a frontier sort of style approach to things.
8223 0000. Which movie character reminds you of an Australian politician? Or you can jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook live stream as well and leave your comments there. It is 6:15. We'll get to some of your calls and headlines after this.
2025 river cruises are now on sale with Armour Waterways and Phil Hoffman Travel. Sail through timeless Europe, the vibrant Mekong River or magical Colombia. Your Armour Waterways river cruise will leave you with memories to last a lifetime with personalised service, award-winning dining and exclusive excursions, all included in your fare. Reserve your river cruise before the 31st of July to save up to $1,700 per person. Visit pht.com.au.
Have you got plans for this Sunday? Well, now you do. It's National Lamington Day, and nothing deserves more celebration than the Lamington, especially since proving they're from Australia and not New Zealand. And there's only one way to celebrate, and that's with Kyton's Lamingtons. Soft chocolatey, decadent chocolatey, and chocolatey Kyton's Lamingtons. You know, the ones who have won all the awards. The ones who have been delighting South Australians for generations. Delicious.
Unique, loyal, fun-loving. That's what we look for in our pals. When you're next spending time with your best friends, don't forget some of the best pals you can have. Parafield Airport Liquor Store has your everyday favourites right through to those hard-to-find products. That's what great pals do. Sam and Jamie from Parafield Airport Liquor Store know every drop on the shelf, so you can always rely on their advice. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals. Next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Welcome to YH Support Services, your trusted NDIS service provider. Promoting independence is our cornerstone. With over 30 years of experience and a person-centred approach, we provide respite, supported independent living, community participation and in-home support. Our experienced staff are hand-picked to ensure our participants receive the highest level of support, delivering great care. Your choice and your control. Choose YH Support Services, where compassion and professionalism meet to create a supportive, inclusive community for everyone. For more information, visit yhsupport.com.au.
Drums, please. Unprecedented, unparalleled, unrivaled. For the very first time, Edwardstown Mazda is offering discounts greater than 10% on all Mazda demonstrator models. Every demo, every model with a minimum discount of 10%. Plus a minimum trade-in of $2,000 on your old vehicle. This offer is exclusive to Edwardstown Mazda.
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
Bit of Ben Lee to get you up and about at 19 past 6 this Friday morning for Meet Tray Friday. We're asking which Australian politician reminds you of a movie character or vice versa. Either way, let's take some calls before headlines. Shane in Brooklyn Park, good morning.
Yes, good morning. There's a certain character out of the Harry Potter series that reminds me of a liberal person.
Shall we call him He Who Must Not Be Named, Shane?
Yes. I think you're on the money there. But on the flip side, there's a Professor Snape that reminds me also of a Labor Prime Minister that used to use crazy vernaculars all the time. Describing people.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Who's the Snape likeness to?
Oh, he was back in the 80s, just before. It's funny, but I can't think of his name right this second.
Paul Keating.
I think Will's onto it though.
Paul Keating is who
Paul Keating, that's him,
is talking
Wonderful.
about.
Thank you, Shane. Shall we put a caveat now that we've had one Peter Dutton Lord Voldemort reference?
I think given it's the one that's cut through, universally and it's so often referenced, I think we can take that one as read. Let's take that to the bank.
That's right, Shane, you can hold on to that one. But
I don't mind Snape as Keating, though.
No, that's good.
That's terrific.
Let's go to Marge in Hampstead Gardens. Morning, Marge.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm for Albanese as the Grinch. He's mean with our money.
Without the green. Thank you,
Marge.
Marge.
Funny, Marge. You know what? My sense is they're all going to be funny just by looking at the Dutton's texts that are coming through.
Oh yeah, people are sending through even pictures.
Yeah, that's excellent. 8223 You can text us on 0448 08 1395 as well for your Meet Tray Friday. I'm not going to read too many texts out yet because we'll just give the callers a chance to come on.
Yeah, a caller will be the one who wins the Meet Tray.
That's right. In a moment, we'll get to some more of your texts.
Headlines this morning. Now, this one is pretty bad for our roads. Thankfully, no fatalities, touch wood, as yet. The 3 nasty crashes on our roads yesterday left 4 people clinging to life. 7 people were injured in a 2-car crash on Victor Harbour Road at Mount Jagged mid-afternoon. One of those, a 26-year-old woman, is in hospital in a critical condition, while a 28-year-old woman and a 4-year-old boy are fighting for their lives after a car-truck smash on the Riddock Highway near Narracourt. And a car collided with a parked truck at Strathalbyn around 5:45pm. The 85-year-old driver has been seriously injured.
The crash at Narracourt, I mean, they're all horrific, obviously, but the crash at Narracourt, when we covered it on 7 News last night, they sent the drone up to show you the force of the impact of a B-double hitting a car.
Yes, the B-double hit a Toyota Kluger or something like that.
Hit a Kluger. But to look at from the air, you'd say, well, those 2 cars haven't been involved in a collision. They're too far apart. They were over 100 metres apart, the 2 vehicles. They looked like they'd been involved in separate incidents, but such was the force with which they hit. It was a really sort of graphic a demonstration of how violent the collisions are in these sorts of incidents.
So where that crash actually happened is right where my best friend's family is. The turn-off to her road
Oh, wow.
became the bypass because they had to shut the highway. And I texted her and said, crikey, is this any of your family? She said, thankfully not. Because it was a 28-year-old Naracoorte woman, a 4-year-old boy who sustained life-threatening injuries, an 8-year-old girl thankfully escaped injury. The 59-year-old truck driver from the Limestone Coast had minor injuries taken to hospital, but her mum put up a Facebook post and their little one-way dirt track then became the bypass on the Rattenbully Road.
Oh, wow.
So nasty, nasty crash, but the roads have reopened as of last night. All of the roads have now reopened since all those crashes, and good luck to those recovering in hospital. The federal government is facing increasing pressure to fund dental services for senior Australians. Labor has turned down a seniors dental benefits schedule which would provide further funded dental care for over 200,000 aged care residents. Australian Dental Association Chief Executive Ethne Irving says seniors deserve equal access to oral care.
This is a program that can be run over a long period of time. It will actually see cost-saving benefits down the track. And the ADA is more than willing to sit down with government and help them to develop this plan into something that is workable.
MediSecure has confirmed hackers accessed the data of close to 13 million Australians during a cyber attack. The online prescription service entered voluntary administration last month after personal data and health information was stolen by a third-party actor. The hack is one of the nation's largest. If you are part of MediSecure, just check everything. Law firm Slater & Gordon has blamed human error to underpaying more than 100 employees over more than a decade. News Corp's reporting this morning the underpayments amount to more than $300,000. Slater & Gordon has self-reported the underpayments to the Fair Work Ombudsman. A bit of dramatic irony in this, in that this law firm stood up for a lot of people who had been underpaid in other areas, and they've been doing it themselves. But a person from payroll picked it up.
How do you underpay people for 10 years? That's really peculiar.
And Australia is no longer ranked among the top 5 countries for work-life balance. Factors such as happiness, minimum wage, annual leave and hours worked weekly have been considered in the Global Work-Life Balance Index. The country has fallen from 4th to 8th, fuelled by lower levels of satisfaction among young people.
Yeah, I think that's really intriguing that it's young people. It's not young people on the back of a surge in youth unemployment like we had 15, 20 years ago. It's some other fact. I'd be really interested to know what goes into that survey, because the biggest driver of unhappiness among young people would seem to me to be the difficulty in getting into home ownership and the challenges in the amount of debt that you've got by the time you're probably 25, where you may have had a uni degree, you then are trying to get into the housing market, and you're working in a job where you think, well, I'm going to have to work for 500 years to be able to either pay off a mortgage or save up enough to try and to get into the market. But I would have thought that's sort of tangential to a work-life balance survey. So I'd be very intrigued to know what it is that young people in particular are unhappy about the current jobs market, because there are jobs there.
This one did list annual leave and hours worked weekly. I wonder if the prospect of people entering the workforce having to build up their leave before they can take a break is daunting. I don't think it should be. It's just been that way for a long time.
Yeah, everyone's had to do that though.
But I don't know. I feel like Gen Zers or Gen Zers are a bit picky at the moment. They probably think they're entitled to get the leave. You start at the 20 days and work backwards. I don't know.
Well, I've said this all the time, a byproduct of there being a labour force shortage is that the power of negotiation is with the employee at the moment, and we're seeing it in so many collective bargaining agreements that have been going on around the country. That hasn't always manifested in more money, but it has manifested in employees having more control over their work conditions. And maybe that entitlement to which you speak, Luce, is partly generational, but it's partly a byproduct of, well, you know what? If you don't want to give me what I want, I'll go and get a job somewhere where they will.
Meat Tray Friday call in a moment, but first the weather today, currently 11.4, only going for a top of 14. As we said, we're expecting between 10 to 25 mils of rain. We're thinking that's going to hit about mid-morning. The wind, there is a wind warning out for later in the day, possible small hail later tonight as well. For tomorrow, we're expecting 3 to 8 mils of rain, top of 15 degrees. Then the rain drops back. On Sunday, 15 degrees up to 3 mils. Monday, 16 degrees up to 1 mil. And Tuesday, 17 degrees. No rain on Wednesday. Get your bathers out. Going to be 19 degrees. Head to the beach, although we might see a bit of rain around on Wednesday. Craig in Salisbury East has called in for the meat tray. Good morning to you, Craig.
Good morning, how are we?
Good, thank you. Who's your movie character and politician?
Well, it's not quite a movie character, but it's the Tom Cooks and Toners and the Swedish Chef.
Oh, from the Muppets.
Yeah.
Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy.
Well, sometimes he does sound a bit hurdy-gurdy.
Thank you, Craig. We got another one that's not movie related for Tom Cooks Totus that came through on the Dutton's text line, and it was the monorail guy from the Simpsons episodes. I guess the association being Minister for Transport and Infrastructure. Selling the big projects.
Sports update this morning with Sam. Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing test driver Agostino Mitsubishi. Hello, Sam.
Morning, Luce. Morning, Will. I thought we got a couple of minutes here before the news. Well, quick preview of the Adelaide teams before the weekend in the AFL. Of course, the Crows back under Friday night lights over in Melbourne. Taylor Walker is out being managed. Mitch Hinge comes back into the side. Crows sitting in 14th. Essendon in 6th. You can catch all the action tonight with Rowie, Sam Tugwell and Campo tonight, just before 6 o'clock. That one at Marvel Stadium. Will?
Just before 7 o'clock.
How will the Crows go?
Well, they generally get pumped by Essendon over there. That's been the recent experience. So, in that vein, it's hard to be too optimistic. That said, Essendon are struggling at the moment. Crows had a decent win last weekend. And they're playing the sort of team that fans wanted to see in round one. You've got Dowling, Taylor, Bond, Riley Thilthorpe's come back in. There's just a plethora of young guys. So they're actually fun to watch again, I think, the Crows, after going through a sort of a mid-season lull.
You're managing the list of the Crows. Are you giving Walker another year?
Yeah, I'd give him one more year.
Okay, fair enough. Port Adelaide, of course, taking on Richmond Saturday night at the Adelaide Oval. Big changes for the Port Adelaide side because of all the injuries. Coming out of the side, Lockie Jones, Kane Farrell, Todd Marshall and Jeremy Finlayson. Coming back into the side, Radigalia, Mitch Georgiades, Willie Rioli and Dylan Williams. As we said yesterday, Mitch Georgiades coming back in as a Port supporter is something I'm looking forward to. Port sitting in 9th, Richmond in 18th. Timmy G, Tom Wren, Treaders and yours truly will bring you that game Saturday night from the Adelaide Oval. Low of 8. He predicted 3 to 8 mils of rain as well for Adelaide Oval. Dan Houston, of course, coming up after 8 o'clock. We'll have a chat about all that action. But these are the game that Port Adelaide are expected to just...
they should destroy Richmond.
Exactly, they should. Do I have faith? No. But that's a whole other matter. And before we wrap up, of course, we won't forget, the Adelaide Thunderbirds are taking on the Melbourne Vixens tomorrow afternoon from the Adelaide 36ers Arena. That's a big semi-final. That to get underway just after 4:30 tomorrow. And keep listening because we got a chance to send you along. We got a couple of doubles to that match.
Fantastic.
So keep listening throughout the morning.
Thank you, Sam. 6:30 news up next. The movie review of A Knight's Tale that I watched yesterday. Not as doomy and gloomy the weather was, so I didn't feel like I had to bury myself under a doona, but I still did anyway. Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger. My review up next. Add some more of your Meat Tray Friday entries. You can, of course, text us 0448 08 1395, but it'll be a caller who wins the Meat Tray today, 8223 0000, all thanks to Chanella's. What politician would you liken to a movie character?
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Rain developing and 14 today. With the 6:30 news, I'm Jess Adamson.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
9 country fire service personnel will fly to Canada tomorrow to deal with the country's escalating wildfires. The staff and volunteers, including 2 firefighters from the Department of Environment and Water, will assist teams in Alberta and British Columbia. There are hundreds of active fires in Canada's provinces for the 2nd consecutive year. Our CFS crew will work in control centres and on the front line. Barack Obama is reportedly telling allies President Joe Biden needs to seriously think about his future. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley.
Joe Biden was Barack Obama's vice president. Now the former commander-in-chief is raising his concerns about the 81-year-old's viability as a candidate for the Democrats. The Washington Post reports Obama has told allies the chances of President Biden winning November's election are diminishing. He's the latest senior Democrat to voice his concerns. Nancy Pelosi, the former House Speaker, and Chuck Schumer, the Senate Democrat leader, reportedly did so in person with the president. Joe Biden remains in isolation, having been diagnosed with COVID-19 and facing arguably the most consequential days of his American presidency.
The Department of Defence and Veteran Affairs is being accused of ignoring the effect of traumatic brain injuries caused by blasts. Gabrielle Hodson reports.
A condition similar to concussion-related brain injuries in long-term footballers has been turning up in Australian defence personnel exposed to explosions. And like footy players, it's usually only diagnosed after death. The blast overpressure condition, dubbed mild traumatic brain injury, is linked to PTSD and severe depression. Researchers say at-risk jobs include Navy clearance diving, the infantry, engineering, artillery and working in tanks. News Corp says the federal government resumed monitoring for explosion exposure only last month, 12 years after a pilot project showed alarming early results, but was ditched. Gabrielle Hodson, 9 News.
Experts say the focus will again be on our inflation figures after a slight increase in Australia's jobless rate. The Bureau of Statistics figures show despite almost 50,000 jobs being created, the unemployment rate sits at 4.1%, up from 4% the previous month. Legendary comedian and actor Bob Newhart has died at the age of 94. The performer had his own television series in the 70s and 80s, featured in the Christmas movie Elf, and won an Emmy for his role in The Big Bang Theory. His publicist says he died in LA after a series of short illnesses. Well, as Victoria grapples with its largest outbreak of monkeypox, we're all being urged to keep a little black book of partners and create what the Chief Health Officer describes as a sex bubble. More from Gail Watson.
76 cases of monkeypox, now known as Mpox, have been detected in Victoria in 3 months, compared to just 8 cases last year. The disease is spread through close physical contact. The state's Chief Health Officer, Dr Claire Lokan, says people should consider ways to limit their exposure. She's told The Age creating a sex bubble, an idea that emerged during the COVID pandemic, is one way of limiting the number of sexual partners and to keep a record of partners. A Sydney man who contracted the disease in late June after travelling to Melbourne for a sex party has told the paper he was initially misdiagnosed, but goes on to describe his 2-week infection as bloody awful.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And it's a very good morning to Corey Norris.
Good morning to you, Jess. Injuries has forced Port Adelaide into 4 changes for tomorrow night's clash against Richmond. Willie Rioli and Asava Radicalea have been recalled after impressive stints in the Sandful. Mitch Georgiades is back from suspension. The Crows will rest veteran Taylor Walker for tonight's battle with Essendon at Marvel Stadium following 2 6-day breaks. Defender Mitch Hinge will return from a groin injury. Charlie Cameron and Toby Bedford are both free to play this weekend after Brisbane and Greater Western Sydney had their 3-match bans overturned at the Appeals Board. The results coming about because of a legal technicality, but Fox Footy's David Zeta expects the loophole will be shut down.
The tribunal, in its reasoning for the decisions in both the Charlie Cameron and Toby Bedford case, did not comment on the actions being likely to cause injury. Because of that, it meant that in the appeal board's eyes, there was an error of law that had a material impact on the case. So that is why both cases were thrown out.
Australian golfer Cameron Smith is blaming a bad day for his disastrous start to the Open Championship in Scotland. The former champion finished 9 over par after his first round, struggling in the wet and windy conditions at Royal Troon.
I mean, if you had told me yesterday that I was going to shoot that, I wouldn't have said that was possible, but just a bit of a crappy start and didn't really manage to hole any putts when I needed to kind of get back in it.
Adam Scott and Minwoo Lee, the best of the Aussies at 1 under and even par respectively. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Corey. Now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Rain developing 14 and windy today. Showers tomorrow and 15 degrees. 16 with a shower or two for Sunday. Right now it's 11 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
Good morning to you. This Friday there's a text here on the Duttons text line. Morning, has there been a welfare check on Dave this week for being on leave when a massive story breaks? Yes, the tradition continues when we don't have a full team but a huge story in the world breaks. Of course, Donald Trump's attempted assassination. That's all right.
Let me just assure you.
David will return on Monday.
Let me just assure you, David's just fine being on holidays when a big story breaks, by the way. He's entirely comfortable, would be my assessment of where David's at right now.
He will be back on Monday and probably ready to talk about it by then, a week after the fact. But David will return to the chair on Monday. Movies are better at Wallace Cinemas. SA is home of big screen magic and entertainment. Visit wallace.com.au. A Knight's Tale yesterday with Heath Ledger. Sad about Heath Ledger. He did this movie when he was 21 years old.
Was he that young, was he?
He passed away at age 28.
Wow, I didn't realise he was so young when he did this film.
Yep, neither did I. I did my fair share of Googling afterwards, not only of his handsome face, but of his life events. Very sad for Heath Ledger. But A Knight's Tale, I thought it was light-hearted, enjoyable, bit of action and comedy, but mostly a romance. Therefore, it was a bit of a nothing film for me, didn't have a lot of substance.
I thought you liked the romantic films.
No. Like, I do, but I acknowledge that they don't provide much stimulation in life. Like, I got a lot out of Django Unchained, right?
So you're saying it's sort of as an artistic contribution or a
yeah, there's not much to it.
Not particularly thought-provoking.
No.
You didn't have one of your famous shower daydreaming moments because of...
Yeah, what coffee do I want today?
Yeah,
no, I
that's right.
didn't have any of those profound thoughts while watching A Knight's Tale. After, though, watching Django Unchained and Goodfellas, it was nice to have a bit of a lighter film this week. I did appreciate that. And to be honest, the idea of medieval times like Robin Hood, whether he's real or not, I firmly believe he was a real character. The Knights of the Round Table, I love all that kind of history. I love that, so I was really happy to watch something like that. Heath Ledger, the peasant who falsely became a knight, competes in jousting competitions, firstly to make money. I liked his go-getter attitude, but then win the heart of the princess was entirely predictable. Heath, obviously the standout of the film, but I really liked his servant Watt, who's played by Alan Tudyk. Now, Alan Tudyk also plays Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball, and he's voiced a character in a Walt Disney film every year for about 10 years. And
Is that right?
Probably don't know it. Yeah, so I loved Alan Tudyk. He's the redhead. I also liked how the movie broke tradition and had a pretty classic rock soundtrack. They used a lot of Queen in there, which was good. It was enjoyable, but like I said, bit of a nothing film. I'm giving it 3 stars.
3, that's all right.
3 stars.
Sometimes films can be mindless entertainment, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but didn't give me anything in return. Here is the opening scene when Watt, William, Heath Ledger, and Roland, the other servant, discover that their jousting mate has died while they thought he was asleep sitting under a tree.
Should we help him? We has to be in the list in 2 minutes. 2 minutes or forfeit. Dead. Hey? 3 scores to none after 2 lances. All Rector needs to do is not fall off his horse and we've won. Oh.
He's dead.
What do you mean dead?
The spark of his life is smothered in shite. His spirit is gone, but his stench remains. Does that answer your question?
No.
A bit of fun for my Thursday.
I'm just looking through. You're right, Lucy. He does appear in just about every Disney film of the last decade. Who knew?
Alan Tudyk, Tudyk.
Yeah.
Look, give him a Google.
Zootopia, my favourite, Encanto. I love Encanto. I think it's just awesome. Big Hero 6. Like, you just go through, you think of any Disney film that's happened in the last decade, and he's been at least a small voice in it. Quite remarkable.
Steve the Pirate would be his most memorable one for me in Dodgeball. Great film.
It's very, very funny movie.
Rob says they never give enough tribute to the knight who designed the round table circumference.
Exactly right.
Thank you, Rob. One of the great maths jokes of the world. Speaking of movies, it is a movie-themed meat tray today, all because Ron DeSantis, over in the US at the moment, described Joe Biden as a movie character.
We need a commander-in-chief who can lead 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
Plenty of texts coming in saying Kevin Rudd looks like Mr. Sheen. And then someone's kindly sent us a photo. I won't disagree with that statement.
Yeah, movie characters that remind you of Australian politicians. Let's go to Nord. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are we?
Good, Rob.
My submission this morning is Stephen Marshall, and again, not a movie character, but Smithers from The Simpsons. And it's not so much his look, it's his demeanour and the way he carries himself. So there you go.
Well, which is the character from The Simpsons,
Yeah.
Sorry?
Smithers.
Oh, Smithers.
Smithers, you're right. Okay, we got you, Rob.
Sorry, I thought you said The Simpsons. I didn't miss Smithers.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Rob.
I missed that as well. Good on you, Rob. Thank you. Very good. Dave and Alberton, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Look, I've got a few. I'll run through them quick.
Right.
Mark McGowan, the former WA Premier, always reminded me of Jordan Belfort in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
David Spears has to be Marty McFly in Back to the Future.
Yep.
Now our current Premier, he could play any one of the Bond characters. For everyone thinking of someone for Bob Catter, I'm sorry, but he is Lieutenant Frank Drebin from Flying High.
Oh, now that's superb.
Good work, Dave.
Dave.
Dave's done his homework.
Dave, that was excellent, Dave. And the only note I'd give Dave is he's just robbed other listeners about 3 good examples, but that was superb. Magnificent work. Keep coming. If you've got a list, you want to cast the whole film, you can do so. 8223 Shoot us a text on the Duttons text line, 0448081395. Politicians that remind you of movie characters. Have at it.
You can also comment on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook live stream. Marcus here has commented, not about movies, but regards to the wild weather we're expecting later tonight. Should be a good night for junior footy at Tea Tree Gully. 7:20 kickoff with a cold face emoji. Good luck to you, Marcus, and whatever kids you've got playing in the footy tonight up at Tea Tree Gully.
So junior footy gets called off if there's lightning, I think.
Same as most sports. Netball only gets called off if it's lightning.
Yeah, and there's no lightning on the forecast. So it's probably the worst combination of lots of rain and lots of wind that you could imagine.
Junior footy, right? They're all kind of running around like headless chooks, depending what level of junior, Marcus. I don't know what age your kids are. But there's a lot of balls going everywhere and the accuracy isn't there. So I can imagine with this wind...
Oh, no, it'd be a disaster. But you know what? The kids will have a good time. I'm not worried about the kids. The
parents
parents
will
standing on the side.
Instead of a thermos, the parents will have some kind of alcoholic beverage in there to keep them sane while they're watching.
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. Why not? Daniel in Nova Gardens has called in on the Meat Tray Friday. Morning, Daniel.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. Who's your movie character politician?
Bob Catter, Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, yes.
No other.
I like it, Daniel. Thank you.
Bob Cat has been around so long, I'm not sure whether he based himself on Crocodile Dundee or Crocodile Dundee was based on Bob Catter. But that's very good.
Damien's just sent us a beautiful sunrise over Maranga in the Barossa Valley. Usually that means beautiful sunrise means treacherous weather on the way, so very, very accurate. Dutton's text line, of course, this morning. All new Triton in stock for immediate delivery with great driveway deals at Dutton's Mitsubishi Murray Bridge. We'll be chatting with Jade Robran after the break and get our SAPOL update. But first, let's check your traffic.
Morning there. Roads are looking really good for the running today to Friday. Hassle-free, accident and breakdown-free, which is great. Do have works to look out for this morning at Port Adelaide, Commercial Road near Charlton Street. A little slow for activity at Salisbury too, Commercial Road near Ponton Street. And new asphalt went down last night at South Road, Edwardstown, so a bit slow through there this morning. Cameras, Dutton Terrace, Medindi and Nan Road at Woodside. The King Living Winter Sale is in its final days. Save up to 50% on selected Australian Design Award-winning furniture. Hurry, final days. Visit the King Living Keswick showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
If your business needs finance fast, speak to Universal Finance right now. Universal Finance make business loans easy. Unsecured business loans and business overdrafts. Universal Finance can help your business now with same-day settlements in most cases. See Universal Finance in Kent Town or search Universal Finance.
This is general advice only, and you should consider the terms and conditions before determining whether this advice is suitable for your situation.
She's been by your side from the beginning. You've raised a family together, supported one another's dreams, and when things got tough, you got through it together. So this anniversary or birthday, express your gratitude and love with a handmade statement jewellery piece from Bell & Brunt, a family-owned custom jeweller with over a century of experience. Celebrate your partner with Bell & Brunt, James Place, City. Visit bellandbrunt.com.au. Crafted for generations.
The Adelaide Hills are most certainly alive. So many new families are now making the tree change. These people need room to breathe and space to dream, and they've chosen to discover what's on the road less travelled.
And if you are heading up to the hills on the freeway, take the Mount Barker exit, turn left, and you'll soon be discovering the home of Mazda in the hills.
It's cold outside, so heat up with some CX-3 winter warmers at Mount Barker Mazda. They've got a huge shipment of CX-3s that are priced to go. Get a CX-3 Sport from just 28,888 drive away. 28,888 drive away. Red hot Mount Barker Mazda value.
I have a CX-3, can thoroughly recommend them. I love my little CX-3, and for unbeatable prices on Mazda CX-3s, take the road less travelled to Mount Barker Mazda. Great service since 1954, Mount Barker Road in Totnes.
It's the show that's given away over 1.6 million.
Yes, yes!
And it's the show that makes dreams become real. Deal or No Deal, 6 o'clock weeknights on 10 and 10 Play.
The way we connect with listeners is changing. Radio, podcast, streaming, in-store, and the way to connect your business with millions of Aussie listeners every week is at Amplify. August 27 and 28 at Jama's Restaurant, Bowden. Tickets are free, but you need to register at audiorsvp.com.au. Hear how audio can change the way you do business for the better. Register now at audiorsvp.com.au.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
6:48 this Friday morning. We had a call from Shane in Brooklyn Park, our first caller for Meet Tray Friday, who pulled Peter Dutton looking like Voldemort. Shane is the only one who can claim that as the Meet Tray entry. So we've had a few texts already. So if you're going to text in saying Peter Dutton bears a resemblance to Voldemort from Harry Potter, we hear you, we see your messages, but it's not going to
It
win.
was $1 to be the most referenced answer in the question about politicians that remind you of movie characters. It's on board, you're right. Shane claimed it. He was the first in. You said something really interesting before the break, Luce, about the sky at night that made me want to question, what do you, when you grew up on the farm, is red sky at night shepherd's delight, red sky in morning shepherd's warning?
Yes.
Is this a thing that you live by, or is this gone out of date?
I don't know if I desperately live by it, but it's definitely noticeable. Like, we've had some incredible sunrises over Hindmarsh Square, and the day has turned absolutely foul afterwards. And often seeing a really red photo like that from Damien, well, the sun is just coming up only, so the glow will get better and better. But, yeah, I think it checks out. Usually it's to do with wind, I think, not necessarily a heap of rain. Any other actual farmers, I live in the city now, any legitimate farmers, feel free to correct me.
You grew up on the land.
No, I need a legitimate farmer to back me up.
A little bit of farm wisdom comes out every now and then. I just heard it there as you talked about what the sunrise was meaning about the day ahead.
The official sunrise this morning is at 7:20 a.m. For all the weather we're expecting today is Chris Kent at the Bureau of Meteorology. Morning, Chris.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, thank you. When is our rain and when's the wind supposed to hit?
Yeah, so across Adelaide, we'll probably start seeing the odd sprinkle about from this morning. We do have some on the radar, which is starting to creep in. So with those, we could see some damaging wind gusts starting to develop about the Mount Lofty ranges from later this morning. The wind we should start seeing arrive later this afternoon around Adelaide once that front moves through. So expecting gusts of around 100 kilometres per hour with winds around 60 to 70 kilometres per hour later this afternoon around Adelaide and continuing during the overnight period. So expected to get pretty hairy tonight as those westerly winds really ramp up.
Do you think we could see the 25 mils predicted rainfall today?
Yeah, so that'll become that'll come through with that front later this afternoon and continue sort of with rain overnight. So some of those showers look like they could be reasonably heavy. We could see around that 20 millimetres mark around the hill, around Adelaide and up in the hills. Could be see around 30, maybe even up to 40 in isolated spots.
Wow, okay, and I know there's a slight bit of rainfall predicted tomorrow, top of 15 up to 8 mils of rain.
Yeah, so we see the conditions starting to ease tomorrow. From tomorrow morning, we'll see some of those conditions, or some of that wind starting to ease. Still looking pretty cool though, 11 degrees tomorrow, and sort of still looking at sort of the odd shower about on Sunday as well.
Great news. Thank you there, Chris Kent at the Bureau of Meteorology. Let's head over to SA Police Senior Constable David Backus is on duty. Morning to you, David.
Good morning, Lucy.
You've had a suspicious car fire at Ferryden Park overnight.
Yeah, that's right. So about 11:45pm yesterday, emergency services were called to Bayfield Court in Ferryden Park after reports of a vehicle on fire. And when police arrived, they saw an Audi sedan engulfed in flames, and fortunately the MFS were able to quickly extinguish that fire. Witnesses reported seeing a tall person in dark-coloured clothing running from the scene near the intersection of Bayfield Court and Montrose Street. So CIB and dog ops were called in, but unfortunately they were unable to locate the suspect. So the investigation continuing, and crime scene will examine the vehicle later this morning, and we're asking for anyone with information about that to contact Crime Stoppers, please.
And David, also a man's been caught with a stolen motorcycle at Stepney.
Yeah, case of wrong place at the wrong time. So just after 4am this morning, Eastern Patrols pulled into a service station on Paynham Road to fill up their police car, and then they've noticed a blue Yamaha motorcycle, and the number plates had been modified with some texture. So,
It's a telltale sign, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right. Bit of a giveaway. So police conducted some checks which revealed it had been stolen from a Woodford address earlier in the month. And then they saw a man exit the service station with a motorcycle helmet, and when they've approached him, he's run from the area, but fortunately the police were faster. They caught the man short distance away. So we'll allege that the 27-year-old Adelaide man resisted arrest, and he's been charged with a raft of offences, including illegal use, incorrect number plate, hinder police, state false personal details, ride unlicensed carrying an offensive weapon after they found a small knife on him. So he's been locked up, didn't apply for bail, and he will appear in the Adelaide Magistrates Court today.
Crikey. Packed dance card there of charges, David.
Yeah, that's right, yep.
Very good. Thank you. Senior Constable David Backus there from SAPOL.
Not exactly a criminal mastermind, that one.
Editing the plates with texture.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Sharpie.
My mind here, where my mind went was, do you get a permanent texture that's got like the thick tip or just the thin one? You got to colour it in, when you're choosing your permanent texture of choice. Which one do you go for?
It's a great question, one that I've never had to think about, Lois.
Neither have I till precisely that moment.
You might as well text to arrest me on the back of your forehead or something. That'd be just as effective,
one of those
I
paper
think.
signs that you pin on kids in high school. It says "kick me."
Committed crime.
Let's go to Jade Robin out on our roads this morning, hopefully before the wild weather hits. Jade comes to us all thanks to Dutton's, family owned and operated for 75 years. They're easy to do business with. Good morning, Jade.
Good morning, Luce and Will. I'm on Weather Watch this morning. It certainly has a feeling of, it's a little bit eerie out here. You can tell something pretty wild is on its way. The wind has certainly picked up. I can't smell the rain yet though, Luce. That is a talent I have. I can smell rain coming and I cannot smell it yet.
Can't smell, what is it, the petrichor?
It's something. Well, I don't know the term. That's very clever of you. But yes, it's not on its way just yet, but the wind has certainly picked up. It's just got a feeling in the air. But another story I am loving this morning, a big happy birthday to 5 extra special South Aussies today. On Thursday at the Bolton Park Aged Care Guys in Walkerville, a very significant birthday was held for 5 of their residents who all turned 100 years of age. So they thought it'd be a fun idea to throw a 500th. Why wouldn't you? Imagine the yarns being told around that table. Kathy Beasley, William Hilton, Patricia Wald, Joy Order and Donald Wills. A huge and heartfelt happy birthday from all of us here at 5AA. They were all born in 1924.
Wow.
In the crazy world that we live in today, it's hard to even imagine what life would have been like back then, isn't it? Simple and wonderful, I bet. But there's a beautiful feature on them in today's Advertiser on page 8 if you want to read a bit more about them. But guys, they've lived through so many moments in time. They were born the year the first Winter Olympics was held in France, and then they lived to see the Summer Games return to Paris. They've lived through a world war, the Great Depression. They would have seen man walk on the moon. There was no social media, perhaps not even television. Look, I think many might say out there that it was the good old days, but I'd love to hear, when you hear these stories, you always like to hear what's their secret to a long and happy life, and some of them that they shared was love life and be happy. Have a happy husband, enjoy a sing-along and surround yourself with good friends. Some pretty great tips there, but it's World Lamington Day on Sunday, guys, so I'm heading out to Kyneton's Bakery. They called me yesterday and they begged me to come out and be a bit of a taste tester, so I thought, oh, you know what, I'll take one for the team. So a little bit later on, we'll celebrate with them.
Jade?
Absolutely. That's exactly how it played.
I heard you camped.
Mean, Will?
I heard you camped on their doorstep and wouldn't take no for an answer. And they said, "All right, fine, let's give her some pastry."
Look, there may not be a front door anymore from me banging it down, but hey, don't let the truth get in the way of the story.
Thank you, Jade.
I'm looking forward to it, Jade. And I want keep your nose to the sky. Let us know if the rain's on the way.
I'm out and about. Truffle pigs out on the road.
Thank you, Jade. Sausage rolls 1 week. Australia's best.
Jade just call herself Truffle Pig.
She did. She's dedicated to the craft, I tell you.
That's sensational.
Yeah, last week she's doing vanilla sliced sausage roll from Australia's #1 bakery. This week it's Lamington's.
Jade knows what's what.
Jade knows.
She wasn't born yesterday.
Jade knows what's up. Just on that point of the 5 people who turned 100, they also share, we highlighted earlier in the week, Will, it is the week of the Stobie pole invention, 100 years. So these 5 people were born the year of the Stobie pole. Incredible. And all 5 of them, 3 of them have already turned 100, and Kathy is the next one to turn 100 in August, and Joy will turn 100 in September. So big happy birthday to Kathy, Donald, William, Joy and Patricia. All in the same nursing home in Walkerville, all turning 100. Just incredible.
Good on them. Just remarkable.
7 o'clock news up shortly. We'll squeeze in one quick meat tray entry. Sue in Christie's Beach, good morning.
Good morning, folks. I also made vanilla slices yesterday, but I haven't tried them yet because they had to set overnight.
Well, careful, because Jade will be knocking on your doorstep, Sue.
She's right. She's got the sniffer nose out.
Now, I know I have to be quick, so I'll just preface this by saying I've always called Peter Malinauskas Captain Smirk.
Oh,
okay?
yes.
Now, there's a Disney character. It's a little dog called Bolt, and it's always got a smirk on its face. So there's mine.
Bolt.
I know the film, Sue. I'm with you. Thank you.
It's a new film. Well, last 20 years, Disney.
Yep. Bolt, I like it.
Bolt.
Dog, thank you, Sue in Christie's Beach.
Does have
We'll
a
take
little
more of your Meat Tray Friday
Malleus
calls
grin.
after the 7 o'clock news and after our daily wrap of stories.
Hi, Brady Bitt here from Mawson Lakes Mazda. There's a lot to like about Mawson Lakes Mazda. I like that they're giving away 12 months of rego and stamp duty on all new cars. Not some, not just the red ones, all new Mazdas. With an offer like free rego and stamp duty, Mawson Lakes Mazda can't do it for long. It's got to end July 31st. Mawson Lakes Mazda, free rego and stamp duty on all new Mazdas. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Catching up with family and friends at home is always a special time. Make life easy with a welcome hand from your local Barnacle Bill. Win a Barnacle Bill treasure chest every week for a year. Enter the Barnacle Bill promotion today for your chance to win in the Barnacle Bill treasure chest giveaway. Fill out an entry form online for your chance to win a treasure chest every week for a year. It's Barnacle Bill for seafood and much, much more.
Shopping should be exciting, not dull. An adventure, not a chore. And fresh, not routine. So experience something new at Newton Central with Drake's, Serenity Hair & Co, Fandy Scissorhands, Terry White Chemist, Glitter and Polish Nail Salon and many more. Including the brand new Séjour Club, an independent boutique with one-of-a-kind handcrafted apparel and jewellery from 2 local designers. Want something new in your life? Choose a new local. Choose Newton Central. Gorge Road, Newton.
Visit Jarvis Toyota's brand new undercover home in Brighton Road, Somerton Park and take advantage of savings across the Toyota certified pre-owned range. Enjoy the same feeling you get with a new Toyota at Jarvis with all certified pre-owned vehicles tested and backed by Toyota, including a full service history and 90-point safety check. Toyota certified pre-owned in a class of its own. Your Toyota journey starts at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park. Proudly celebrating 23 years of great deals.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Up to the minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Rain developing and 14 today. With the 7 o'clock news, I'm Jess Adamson.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
Major crash investigators are appealing to anyone with information about 3 horror crashes on our roads yesterday. The Riddoch Highway in the state's southeast and Victor Harbour Road at Mount Jagged have now reopened after separate crashes there. A 28-year-old Naracoorte woman and her 4-year-old son have life-threatening injuries after their car collided head-on with a truck. Police say an 8-year-old girl in the car miraculously escaped serious injury. South of Adelaide, a car and a ute collided yesterday, leaving 7 people in hospital, including a 26-year-old woman with life-threatening injuries and a 7-year-old boy. And an 85-year-old woman's being treated in hospital after her car collided with a parked truck at Strathalbyn late yesterday. There are more explosive revelations about the CFMEU, this time focused on family violence. Carolee Katsambanis reports.
As the Prime Minister moved to turf former CFMEU boss John Setka from the party and unionists called for his resignation, federal and state Labor MPs sent Setka private messages of support. SMH The Age says the 2019 messages dated from when Setka was battling domestic violence allegations, and also said domestic violence campaigner Rosie Batty's advocacy work had cost men their rights. The head of the key ALP Women's Forum not only supported Setka, but helped him craft a public message strategy to keep his job. The union's been reeling from a week of scandal after claims it's been infiltrated with bikies and organised criminals with allegations of corruption and widespread intimidation.
Former US President Barack Obama is the latest senior Democrat to raise concerns Joe Biden can't defeat Donald Trump. Top congressional leaders are reportedly urging the 81-year-old to step down. President Biden recently came down with COVID-19. Police in Paris have begun locking down essential areas of the city ahead of the opening ceremony a week from now. The BBC's Hugh Schofield is there.
A sure sign of the approaching games is the changing face of central Paris, as successive historic locations like the Place de la Concorde are given over to temporary sports stadiums, and now with lines of fencing up and down the banks of the Seine used to enforce an anti-terrorist security zone ahead of the opening ceremony. From today, you need to have downloaded a QR code to present to police in order to get into this zone, which comprises Notre Dame Cathedral, as well as the Louvre and the area around the Eiffel Tower.
Australia is no longer ranked among the top 5 countries for work-life balance. Factors such as happiness, minimum wage, annual leave and hours worked weekly have been considered in the Global Work-Life Balance Index. Australia has fallen from 4th to 8th, fuelled by lower levels of satisfaction among young people. New research is shedding light on ways to manage the family dog with a newborn baby in the home. A survey by James Cook University reports dogs often get the cold shoulder. Lead author Dr. Jessica Olivier says it's important we don't neglect man's best friend.
Perhaps asking your partner or a friend, a trusted family member, to come and give the dog a little bit more attention, or to take it for walks, or perhaps take baby off your hands while you spend some quality time with the dog.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Corey Norris.
Good morning, Jess. The Crows will rest veteran Taylor Walker for tonight's clash against Essendon at Marvel Stadium, meaning Riley Thilthorpe has been promoted to the 18. Defender Mitch Hinge will return from a groin injury. They'll be aiming to cause an upset against a Bombers side that's in a bit of a form slump.
if you look at a lot of our numbers, we're playing a brand of footy that's going to give you a really good opportunity to win every game that you play. There aren't huge fluctuations, but at different stages this year we haven't been able to execute as we would like. So it's constant work in progress in that space, but I think the foundation is really solid.
Essendon coach Brad Scott. Injuries has forced Port Adelaide into 4 changes for tomorrow night's battle with Richmond. Willie Rioli and Asava Radaglia have been recalled after impressive stints in the Sandful. A win for both Brisbane and the Giants before the AFL Appeals Board last night. It means both Toby Bedford and Charlie Cameron are free to play this weekend. It comes after a week of debate about the tackle. Giants midfielder Tom Green telling Wide World of Sports it's caused a lot of confusion.
It's just so difficult right now. As a player, I'm second guessing what I can and I can't do, because I think if you look at Snooz's tackle, there was absolutely no malice in it. I don't think he realistically could be expected to have done anything other than he did. And it's unfortunate that Tim was concussed. It's not something we want to see. We do play a contact sport, and unfortunately stuff like that I think is going to happen.
Adam Scott is the best of the Australians late in the opening round of the British Open at Royal Troon Golf Club. He's 1 under after his first round, 4 behind leader Shane Lowry. American Justin Thomas is sitting in 3rd place at 3 under. And that's the 5AA sport.
Thanks, Corey. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
Morning there. Roads are looking A-OK for the run-in today, which is a nice way to wrap up the week. Simply works. You'll find them at Port Adelaide, Commercial Road near Charlton Streets. Also at Modbury North today, McIntyre Road near Milne Road. A new asphalt went down last night, South Road at Edwardstown. So a little slow as you're heading into the city, but she's nice and smooth, that's for sure. Cameras, McGill Road, McGill and Reed Avenue at Tranmere. Fast food shouldn't slow you down. That's why Sombrero use only the freshest ingredients, which means it doesn't just taste good, it leaves you feeling good. Sombrero, Feel Good Mix. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Rain developing today, windy and 14. Showers, wind easing and 15 tomorrow. 16 for Sunday with a shower or 2. Right now, it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
7:07, good morning to you. I urge you to check out the sunrise on the Foodland Supermarket's Facebook and YouTube live stream. The iPhone on a stick is doing an incredible job here. Will, yes, get up and have a look out the window if you like.
Well, I hate to, denigrate the iPhone on a stick, but I don't think it's doing it justice. This is one of the
It's not quite, no.
This is one of the best sunrises in fact, this might be the best sunrise I've seen from this vantage point in this building since we've been doing this. It is unbelievable out there at the moment.
Brent the Milkies sent us an incredible photo over sunrise over Nuriupta, the official sunrise, not till 7:20 this morning. But if you're in a spot where you can take a photo, please text us. We'd love to see them. 0448 08 1395. It is a really deep fuchsia, I'm calling that.
I don't know what that word means, but the thing, I think the problem with the iPhone's so good at getting light and drawing it into a picture, it always makes things look brighter than they otherwise are. But what makes this sunrise look so spectacular is how dark and what did you say, fuchsia it is. I don't know what that means again, but it's orangey and pinky and it looks absolutely spectacular. Well worth your time to get out. If you've got a good photo like Brenton has, send it through to us. We'll put them up on our social media a little bit later so people can admire your handiwork, but it is a magnificent one this morning. I like this Dutton's text, and I think we need a issue of clarification around this. Paul in Blakeview asks a good question. He says, good morning, Lucy and Will. How can it be World Lamington Day?
Yes.
Isn't Australia the only country that has lamingtons? Have we done a bit of American sport with this and just suddenly declared ourselves the world champions?
Yeah, Paul, thank you for texting in. As soon as he sent that, I thought, gee, you're right. We've declared ourselves kings of the world here. No, let's recorrect it. It is National Lamington Day.
National Lamington Day.
National Lamington Day.
We haven't gone all
Sunday.
US about it.
It is national, celebrated every year in Australia. And this definition says, this day celebrates a delicious dessert that is loved by people living in the Southern Hemisphere.
Reminds me of that joke that's made about the origins of sport in the US and the United Kingdom. The UK creates a new sport, sends it out into the world, and then never wins it again. The US creates a new sport, no one else wants to play, and they declare themselves world champions every year.
This definition says, this delicious food holiday celebrates Australia's most famous culinary icon, the Aussie Lamington. Is it our most famous culinary icon? We'll see. Debate it if you like on the Duttons text line, but let's get into our news of the morning.
I'm calling it World Lamington Day, Luce. I don't care whether it's... All right, let's get into it. Let's start local and talk about a story about house prices in Adelaide. This again proves to be remarkable. The Real Estate Institute of South Australia has put out some data. Metro Adelaide prices have hit a median of $785,000. $785,000. So median, again, is if you lined up all the prices of all the houses in a row and you pick the middle one. The middle one's now worth $785,000. So it's not the mean, the average, which can be distorted when one property goes for $6 million and it raises the average, and it's not really what a middle sort of ground property is. The median's quite good at determining that. $785,000. The median price, according to the Real Estate Institute, increased by 4.93% on the previous quarter. 5% in a quarter, 13.32% on the same quarter last year. Some of the places, though, you're seeing figures that I double-checked this reading it last night on the news and checking in this morning because I thought there's no way that can be true. It is. Places like Royal Park, Tea Tree Gully and Ayr saw price rises of 53.46%, 46.98%, and 43.63% respectively. That is unbelievable. The top selling suburbs in terms of recorded sales for the June quarter were Mount Barker, Morphett Vale and Paralowie. Have a listen to Kane Cook from the Real Estate Institute talking about what this data says about the real estate market in Adelaide.
It's a good time if you're already in the market, seeing the appreciation of your asset, but definitely if you're looking to get in, it's getting tougher and tougher.
We're getting some beautiful sunrise pictures coming through at the moment. I got momentarily distracted by those. Let's head to the US.
Sorry, just before, someone also texted in a photo and I nearly spat out my coffee. There's a picture of Griphook, who's one of the goblins from Harry Potter. Who's that politician next to the elf wheel?
I can't see it because my thing doesn't come up with very good resolution, so I can't actually see it very well.
I'm not sure. Anyway, text us back who that Polly is, but I was taking a sip of coffee and nearly spat it out because the picture that they've picked of this balding politician is so accurate that I nearly choked. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's go to the United States. Big report from the Washington Post. This is significant. You might be tired of this story. I suspect by the end of this weekend it might be over. President Obama has told Joe Biden's allies his path to victory is now diminished and he should consider whether to stay in the race against Donald Trump. According to the Washington Post, again, as far as political insiders go and as for reporting on things going on in the United States and breaking news, the Washington Post's record is pretty remarkable. The Post says Obama believes the 81-year-old should seriously consider the viability of his candidacy. It said there was no immediate comment from Obama on the record, but it follows reports about other Democrats coming forward to say he needs to step aside. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have privately urged him to leave the race. These are the biggest names in the Democrat movement. Obama is the biggest and the most important because he's been behind the scenes Joe Biden's biggest supporter. I mean, the conspiracy theories have been to the texts we consistently get. If Joe Biden's not capable of running the US, who's been running it? A lot of people will say, well, it's been Obama. Obama's been pulling a lot of the strings behind the scenes. I don't know how accurate that is. I do know if the Washington Post is saying now he's now telling people he needs to reconsider that it's over. It's over. This has increasingly started to feel like an Australian political leadership spill where you've had whispers and they start from the fringes of the party and work their way into the biggest names. We're at the point now the biggest names, current and former, are saying Joe Biden needs to go. There's no way back from this if that is accurate. And if Obama's saying it now to people within the party, there's no way he lasts the weekend. And you don't need even hear from him on the record. Have a listen to people like Van Jones, who speaks on CNN as an analyst. Now, CNN is always very pro-Democrat in how they report on what's going on in the party. But have a listen to this analyst that would lean Democrat, that generally would have very little nice to say about the Republican movement, talk about where things sit as we speak in the lead up to the November election.
A lot of people who want Biden to stay in. I want to just keep pointing out there's still grassroots love for Joe Biden. Everybody doesn't agree. But today is a terrible day. If you pull back and look at this thing, strength versus weakness, a bullet couldn't stop Trump. A virus just stopped Biden. You've got the nominees of this party getting their butts kissed, Biden's getting his butt kicked by his own party. The Democrats are coming apart. The Republicans are coming together. That's what's happening. And at some point, this party has to look at the reality of that.
Jones was actually worked for Barack Obama back during his presidency, so he's as plugged in as anyone when it comes to the Democrat movement. Of course, he's referring to the fact that Joe Biden was diagnosed with COVID yesterday. He's taken some time away to isolate, but the Obama domino is one that I think sets in train a series of events now that culminates very soon in Joe Biden stepping down or announcing he won't be part of the November presidential election.
Just fascinatingly, Will, I looked out at the window of Hindmarsh Square here. That sunrise has disappeared.
What?
The red
has?
deep fuchsia
Where'd you put it?
Has turned to light blue. The iPhone on a stick, you'll be able to see it on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook live stream and on YouTube. Gorgeous photos of people. This one, Ryan in Greenwith says, sunrise whilst out walking the dog in Greenwith. Rain definitely on the way. My inner Keith Martin says, rain by 9 a.m. Make sure your washing is inside. Yeah, true that. But the sunrise, the official time is still 7:20 a.m., a couple of minutes away. But the deep fuchsia that was over Hindmarsh Square has now disappeared already. So Sam managed to run out and take a photo, which we'll put on our 5AA Breakfast Twitter. But there it is on the live stream. Gorgeous photo. That was 2 minutes ago. It's now gone.
That is quite remarkable.
Bizarre, isn't it?
Blink and you'll miss it sunrise. A few of our listeners have got great pictures of it, though. Just lastly, here in Adelaide, interested in people's thoughts on this on 8223 0000. According to the Tiser this morning, kangaroos will be shot and killed in the Adelaide foothills and in some national parks for the very first time under proposed changes to control the population, now numbering in the order of 4 million roos. The Environment Department has put out its updated draft kangaroo management plan. The plan spans a period of 5 years from next year through till the end of the decade. It includes changes to the commercial harvesting boundaries. That's what affects all this. Livestock SA President Joe Keynes is quoted in the piece. He says numbers have expanded alarmingly across the state. The problem is, and I don't know if this is an issue in Clare, Luce, but they eat the feed. So you've got heaps knocking around your paddocks. And as some of the farmers quoted in the piece say, if you've got 12, no big deal. That's just part of farming in Australia. If suddenly there's 30 and they're eating the feed for your livestock, it becomes a problem. Joe Keynes says no farmer wants to eradicate them, but farmers want to see them in numbers that are naturally occurring, not the overabundant numbers we're seeing now. It would be great to harvest them as a food source and find markets. The meat is lean, and when cooked, it's great protein. So this gives you a bit of a population history of where things are at. 3.9 million roos in the harvest zone last year, 3.8 the year before. 2021, it was 2.7. Things have jumped up significantly in a short period of time. The harvest zone won't include the CBD and the surrounding metropolitan areas. If there is any harvesting, as they call it, this is the sort of euphemistic term for killing them, they close the park and restrict it. This is a plan that's out for community consultation. Obviously, they'll take feedback from both landowners and people that will talk on behalf of protecting the welfare of the animals. That consultation runs through until September 15.
Coming up in a moment, if you need some help with your footy tips, FIVEAA is back to join us with all things sport this weekend. Big game, Crows and Essendon tonight at Marvel. You'll hear his tip for that. Also on today, if you're listening this afternoon, you want some food inspiration, you can join Stacey Lee for Foodie Friday thanks to Smeg & Powell's. Building or renovating, your first choice should be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg & Powell's, the home of all Australia's great wines. FIVEAA up after the break, but first, here's your traffic.
Thanks, Lucy. Getting busy at the moment. South Road at Clovelly Park, heading into the city. New bitumen went down last night, so a bit slow through there at the moment. Getting busy at Port Adelaide for works. Commercial Road near Charlotten Street, and a bit sluggish as we speak at Hallett Cove for works. Lonsdale Road near Majors Road. Cameras this morning: Church Terrace, Walkerville, and Dutton Terrace at Medindi. The Harvey Norman Furniture and Bedding run-out clearance is on now. Race in for up to 50% off lounges, dining, bedding, outdoor and more. The Harvey Norman run-out is on now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
John Olsen, Rob Kerrin, Mike Rand, Jay Weatherall, Stephen Marshall, and now the Malinowskis government, all saying renewables. Federally, it's the same throughout that period, both Labor and Liberal politicians. We've gone renewable from back in the 90s, we were building wind turbines.
Matthew Pantelis.
Renewables will bring down the price of electricity. Where the heck? Here's that.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Mate, it was so easy. Drop the car into Automasters. Next thing, I get a video on my phone.
AutoCam. It's new from Automasters.
The service advisor is there live doing a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
He shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam. The future of vehicle servicing here now. Call 1300 Automasters.
Oh, you know, would it be great to have in an Austrac camper? A wireless phone charger. Just a sec. Yeah, mate. What's that? Austrac campers already have wireless phone chargers? Oh, yeah. No, I'll tell them.
Austrac campers.
Are you eagerly awaiting a relocation sale to stock up on four-wheel drive and camping gear? Great news! TJM Clovelly Park have just opened their doors at their new address, 115 Sheriffs Road, Ranella. They're still clearing out heaps of ex-display stock and everything must go. Get in quick and give the crew at TJM Nailsworth a call to find out what's up for grabs at both locations during their relocation sale on now.
Ignition for Men, Adelaide's home of luxury menswear, offer an impeccable range of suits by leading Italian brands, including the unparalleled quality and style of Armani, Canali, Zegna, and more. Ignition for Men. What you wear speaks volumes about who you are and where you're going in the world. Make your mark with Ignition for Men, 54 Paynham Road, Stepney. Ignition for Men. ignitionformen.com.au.
The critical part of any healthcare is the care. It's about being by your side when you and your loved ones need us most. Through late night fevers, through the rough and tumble of weekend sports, through weird rashes, mystery aches, and knowing in your heart that something's not quite right. From surgery to rehabilitation, through emergencies, mental illness, chronic diseases, and for better health. Your doctor cares. Let's take care of them too. Authorised by Dr. David Pope, Samoa, Adelaide.
Welcome to Life's Key Moments, brought to you by First National Real Estate. A key to my home where my furry friends are always welcome.
The key to endless adventures in my retirement.
The key to growing our own veggies and plenty of space for the kids to play.
The key to living the dream away from the big smoke.
The kids and girls night?
Every night. Your key to happiness awaits. Visit firstnational.com.au or call 1800 032 332. First National Real Estate. We put you first.
I booked the car into Automasters. Next thing, there's a video on my phone.
Shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam. New from Automasters.
Know the news with Adelaide's 7 News. Don't miss Adelaide's leading news hour tonight at 6 o'clock.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
FIVEAA is brought to us every week, all thanks to Macca's, the new McSmart meal from Macca's. 2 burgers, small fries and a small soft drink, $6.95. T's and C's apply. FIVEAA, good morning to you.
Sweet, sweet goodness and loose. I'm actually liking this combination. I think Pembo might be struggling to get his job back when he arrives back from holidays.
You've missed out, Fitzy. We've had our listeners get involved in all sorts of conspiracy theories as to where he might be. Some people think he's off cavorting with Donald Trump at the convention in Milwaukee. Some think he was abducted by aliens. It's been something of a sort of a pre-6:30 game each and every morning. People play a sort of perverted version of Where's Wally, but it's called Where's Pembo.
Do we know what continent at least he's in?
We know? He's in a mystery and undisclosed
location.
He's
just in the car park, Fitz. He hasn't. His car's been there for 4 weeks.
He's rocking back and forth in his car in the car park. I can't do it. I can't go back.
Him being away, I mean, he missed out on Monday morning where we got to talk about the Crows' victory on the weekend in shocking conditions at Adelaide Oval. And I said to Rowie when we were doing the review that a bit like, and you'll know this, in Happy Gilmore, Fitzy, where when Happy goes to his happy place, it involves his scantily clad girlfriend serving him pints of beer.
Yes,
I just go to Riley Thilthorpe's fourth quarter on the weekend now. That's my new happy place.
Well, I was at the game. I took my two sons. My son was rocking back and forth in the first half watching St Kilda's game plan. But then that final quarter was unbelievable. And I actually had a chat to Matty Nix after the game. He goes, mate, I thought, have I made the worst decision here? It is absolutely bucketing down with rain, and I've decided to bring on a 6'6" kid in the rain and put him up forward. And I said, no, mate, you can't look at it like that. You've got to think of yourself as a genius, because he basically won the game for us, kicked those 2 goals. I remember when I was at the Swans and the Crows, I arrived in the AFL, I was weighing about 85 kilos loose. And I remember when I got to the Crows, our fitness coach was a guy called Robbie Carruthers, and he was right into his bodybuilding, and I remember he looked at me on day one and he goes, oh my God, meet me, you're going to go meet me in the club rooms after training today. And he had cooked up a kilo steak, and I had to scull a pint of stout beer to put on weight and then go into the gym. Yes.
You're too scrawny, Fitzy. Too scrawny for the AFL.
I was too scrawny loose, and I had to eat that once a week, that meal, and go into the gym and try to put on weight, and it actually worked. And I look at Riley Thilthorpe now and I go, Mike, from when he was drafted to the size of him now, it is scary. The only thing is, when you put on that much weight, it can be it can't be beneficial for your body, because your body has to carry that excess weight. So I'm hoping he doesn't get injured again. But geez, I'd love him at that size up at full forward regularly.
He looks like a beast. I want to hear more about this stout, though.
Isn't that every person's dream? You have to have stout and steak. You have to.
Well, I was having that most Saturday nights after a good win, but no, not as a staple.
That was just your relentless commitment to bodybuilding.
I said to Robbie Carruthers, well, I'll keep doing it every day of the week if you want me to. If you want me to put on that much weight. And I got delisted. 1 year at the Crows, done.
Yeah, but you're a rig, so, swings and roundabouts. That takes us to what is the big Friday night fixture, Crows and Essendon. Hopefully he gets to take the vest off and play the full game, Big Filthy, this Friday night. What are you expecting of the Crows? Can they get up?
I'm gonna back the Crows this week. I feel like there's a time that it will turn and we'll start playing some amazing footy. And we're up to round 19. So if I can't do it at round 19, I'll never be able to do it in 2024. So I'm going to say that the Crows will knock off the Bombers.
All right, then we go to Saturday, GWS Gold Coast.
Yeah, that's at NG Stadium.
Yes.
Gold Coast have not won a game away from home for the whole year. So lock in the Giants for that win.
Yeah, bizarre side. Beat Port Adelaide there, and they just look a different team at home. Marvel Stadium, St Kilda West Coast on the Saturday.
Yeah, St Kilda's game plan is so deplorable, but they'll win that. They'll score about 7 goals and win it by a few points.
Hawthorn Collingwood, this should be a good game on Saturday twilight at the MCG.
This is going to be a belter. Someone told me the other day, if Collingwood lose this, they probably won't make the finals. So I am praying that Hawthorn win on Saturday.
Crows have got Hawthorn the following week too. Geelong Western Bulldogs at GHMBA.
Yeah, it's down at Geelong, so I'll go the Cats to beat the Bulldogs.
And then the local game Saturday night, Port Richmond.
God, you wouldn't want to drop this game, would you?
No.
Well, Crows did.
Would not. Yeah, they did too. Luce, that is actually a good pickup. And that's why we will not be in the finals. If Port lose this one, you probably have to write them off for the finals as well. But Port Adelaide will beat the Tigers at home.
Big top 4 clash on Sunday. Lions up against the Swans.
Yeah, Lions are favourite to win this, and I think that's because of the home ground advantage. So, yeah, I think Brisbane are playing great footy. The Swans are off a little bit at the moment, so I'll go the Lions to beat the Swans.
Demons have showed a little bit last week. Freo Demons at Optus.
Yeah, hard to win at Optus Stadium as well, so the Dockers will win that one.
Yeah, Fremantle quietly having a good year. And then Carlton North Melbourne in the final match of the round.
North Melbourne are playing better footy, but Carlton will win that at Marvel Stadium.
Yeah, should be a goal fest for the big forwards. Good on you, Fitzy.
Good on you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Fitzy. Fitzy brought to us from Macca's, the new McSmart meal from Macca's. 2 burgers, small fries and a small soft drink, $6.95. T's and C's apply.
And certainly if you want all the build-up to the Crows match tonight from Marvel Stadium against Essendon, tune in to Rowie and Timmy G. And don't miss Warren Treadray on the Drive Show tonight, also thanks to Ignition for Men, Lois.
Coming up after the 7:30 news with Jess and Corey, we head over to Canberra with Michael Packy.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Rain developing and 14 today. With the 7:30 news, I'm Jess Adamson.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. physioextra.com.
South Australians are being warned about a potentially deadly synthetic opioid after an Adelaide man nearly died. He'd consumed a single street-bought oxycodone pill and had to be resuscitated at the RA. Toxicology tests showed the presence of large amounts of proton itazine, and doctors fear it may be contaminating illicit drugs. A 19-year-old man's in hospital after losing control of a BMW and crashing into a tree on Flaxmill Road at Christie Downs this morning. He suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to hospital. Major crash officers are at the scene. A car was torched at Ferryden Park overnight. Senior Constable David Backus says they were called to Bayfield Court after reports an Audi was on fire.
Witnesses reported seeing a tall person in dark-coloured clothing running from the scene near the intersection of Bayfield Court and Montrose Street. So CIB and dog ops were called in, but unfortunately they were unable to locate the suspect. So the investigation's continuing.
Close to 13 million Australians have been affected by a cyber hack on MediSecure, making it one of the largest in the nation's history. Katie Fuller reports.
The prescription service was the victim of a ransomware attack in May when millions of names, phone numbers, addresses, Medicare card numbers and health-related data was stolen. The hacker putting some of the information up for sale on a Russian forum. MediSecure has since entered voluntary administration and federal police are reviewing whose data has been exposed. 12.9 million Australians who used the service between March 2019 and November 2023 are believed to have been affected. The federal government has been notified.
A legal firm priding itself on defending the rights of workers has underpaid its own staff around $300,000. A payroll manager picked up a 10-year miscalculation of holiday pay at Slater and Gordon. The chief executive says it's disappointing and there are no excuses, with consultants Caudamentha reviewing what went wrong. Joe Biden is being encouraged to drop out of the US presidential race as his opponent Donald Trump prepares to front the Republican National Convention. The 81-year-old is under pressure from powerful Democrats to step aside as his ability to lead is questioned. His administration's former director, Mo Vela, says now is the time to move.
If I was advising him, I would tell him to get out tonight because everything's about news cycles and the narrative in the media. And if he does this tonight, he takes away the attention from Donald Trump's Republican convention speech, and that would be a politically genius move.
The Cancer Council wants urgent government action to stop misleading advertising on alcohol. A study shows a third of companies are putting health and greenwashing claims on their packaging. The Council's Ashley Haynes says consumers are increasingly conscious of their health and the environment.
Virtue marketing claims, which are statements that emphasise a product's nutrition benefits, eco-friendliness or support for social causes on alcohol products over the last 10 years. And we found the number of products carrying virtue marketing has gone up by 19% in this period.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And it's a very good morning to Corey Norris.
Good morning to you, Jess. The Crows will take on Essendon tonight in Melbourne without Taylor Walker, the veteran rested following 2 6-day breaks. Riley Thilthorpe will take his place in Adelaide's forward line. Willie Rioli and Asava Radagalia have been recalled to the power side for tomorrow night's clash against Richmond. Mitch Georgiades returns from suspension. Dustin Martin won't line up for the Tigers due to back soreness. Coach Adam Uze says it will be a great test.
They're obviously really strong in the contest and their stoppage numbers are obviously top 4 in the comp. So we understand that that's obviously something that we've got to be really mindful of. Obviously losing 10 is going to make it a little bit harder, but we're going to go over there and try and match them in that area. And then obviously their ball movement's really fast. We know where they want to bring the ball and how they want to move the ball. And at home they're obviously in really good form.
The Lions' Charlie Cameron and Giants' Toby Bedford are free to play this week after their 3-game suspension was overturned by the Appeals Board. Plenty at stake for the Adelaide Thunderbirds tomorrow. A win over the Vixens will put them into another Super Netball Grand Final. Golf, and Englishman Daniel Brown is the surprise leader after a brutal opening round of the British Open. Gusty conditions at Royal Troon wreaked havoc, with Rory McIlroy and Cameron Smith finishing 7 and 9 over par respectively. Brown finished 6th under and says he did well to keep finding the fairway.
It was tough with the crosswinds on the front 9, and then obviously you switch on the back and it goes the other way, so it was difficult to manage, but thankfully I managed to keep it on the short stuff.
And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Corey. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
Morning there. The road's looking really good for a Friday, which is a nice way to wrap up the week. You won't have any hassles getting to work, so that's good news. A couple of works to keep in mind. You'll find them at Port Adelaide, Commercial Road near Charlton Streets. Also at Plimpton this morning, Marion Road and Anzac Highway, and she is slow on the Southern Expressway to Halloran Hill. That's just near Majors Road for the road, widening speeds at 80 and really busy too. Cameras, George Street, Norwood and McGill Road at McGill. Harris Scarf's 4-day friend sailing's on now. Save 40% off full price luggage. Conditions apply. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Rain developing, windy and 14 today. Showers, wind easing and 15 tomorrow. 16 for Sunday with a shower or two. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Suzuki is celebrating 40 years of Swift with an all-new Suzuki Swift Hybrid. So, book a test drive today in Australia's best value hybrid, the all-new Suzuki Swift Hybrid, for fun's sake.
At SA Lounge Suites, we know your lounge says a lot about you, which is why we offer custom-made sofas and dining tables. And we're extremely proud to stock Australian-made furniture. Our Keswick Concept Showroom offers custom-made pieces and is also home to a stunning Molmick gallery featuring sofas that are handmade in Australia. It all means we have something perfect just for you. SA Lounge Suites, located on Anzac Highway, Keswick, and at Jeps Cross Home HQ.
Austrac Campers' Red Arc battery management system lets you get off the beaten track and off-grid for a week, a month,
Will you stop pretending you're in a radio ad?
or until you get on each other's nerves.
Austrac Campers!
Join the great cover-up and get a Walco Guardian pool cover. Made right here in SA, a Walco Guardian pool cover will preserve your chemicals, keep your water clean, and you won't need to run your pump. Put your pool to bed for winter. Visit walco.com.au.
Your local IGA's now got all you need for your baby, like the Panther Nappy Rash Ointment, trusted by mums to help both treat and prevent nappy rash, whilst providing gentle and soothing relief for your baby. IGA, where the little locals matter.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop Real Estate. 2 years ago, had anyone suggested that South Australia's property prices would be on par with Melbourne's, it might have been met with some scepticism. However, the unexpected has happened. Adelaide's property market is in full bloom, with the median house price surpassing the $900,000 mark for the first time in history. A true testament to the strength of our local property market. And no, these aren't just occasional spikes. It's solid, continued growth, reflecting a strong local property market with no signs of a slowdown. If you're contemplating selling in this profitable market, contact the experienced team at Toop and Toop. We have nearly 40 years of history backed with a strong track record of achieving exceptional sale prices. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
Heading to Canberra in a moment. Good couple of texts here on the Duttons text line. We're likening politicians to movie characters after Ron DeSantis in the US described Joe Biden as the Weekend at Bernie's character, the corpse to pretend that was not a corpse. Someone here says Peter Dunn looks like Donald Duck. Another one here, Barnaby Joyce reminds me of Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas, but his version is Leaving Belkanen on a story of a man on a park bench.
I'd watch that film. I think we have, actually.
Someone here says Clive Palmer, Jabba the Hutt.
That's just mean.
Anyway, to a man who's spent a lot of time working in and around these politicians, we go to Michael Packy, the National Political Editor for 9 Radio in Canberra. Morning to you, Michael.
Good morning, Lucy. Good morning, Will.
Michael, it's been a torrid sort of a week. I want to let's cut to the heart of this issue about the CFMEU and the federal Labor government, though. Anthony Albanese, I think everyone stuck to the script immediately when the calls came to deregister the party and investigations were launched and divorcing the construction arm and so forth came to the fore. And Anthony Albanese led the charge saying, we've acted swiftly, we've acted immediately, we have acted upon this. The allegations came to the fore and we did not delay. Do you buy that? How's that line running, do you think? Because a lot of our listeners are saying, well, you know what, there was a couple of warnings along the journey that maybe all wasn't exactly above board with the old part of the CFMEU.
Yeah, look, and I think that's going to be the real issue that the Albanese government is going to have to come to terms with, because people are starting to say that there were warning signs for quite some time, and it did appear to a certain extent that maybe those warning signs were ignored, and that the government, or then maybe opposition before the Albanese government came into power in 2022, should have been doing more to deal with the issue. And something was being done at the time. The coalition had the ABCC, the Australian Building and Construction Commission, in place, which was trying to deal with this sort of behaviour on construction sites. And one of the election promises of the Albanese government was to get rid of the ABCC, and they did as soon as they came to power in 2022, so about 2 years ago. Now, 2 years later, we have this investigation that's brought to light these allegations of corruption and bribery on construction sites. And a lot of these construction sites are state and federal government construction sites where there's state and federal government infrastructure, so it's taxpayers' money that could be at stake here. I'm not sure about SA, but I know that in New South Wales late yesterday, the state government here, which is a Labor government, said that they were going to be conducting an audit into a lot of the construction projects that the New South Wales government has got going, to see if potentially taxpayers have been overcharged. So I think these sorts of issues are going to have to start being delved into, and how much did the now government know that this was taking place? The
opposition here have called for an audit. The state government, though, has referred the entire matter to the police commissioner for a criminal investigation of what kind of conduct may have gone on here. And of course, the recent history of the CFMEU in South Australia was it got 2 years taken over ago by the Victorian branch. So there was a suspicion then that would we see a change of behaviour, and according to the Civil Contractors Federation and the Master Builders, they say things took a marked turn for the worse. The politics of this and the timing of this, I think, are really interesting, though, Michael. In a sense, I mean, this is a potential crisis for the federal government. They couldn't have picked a better time for it to happen, could they? It's not a sitting week in terms of what's happening here, but then globally, there's a bit going on over in the US too that's swallowing up a bit of the news cycle.
100%. 100%. So this has all come out. Parliament's not sitting. It's actually not sitting for another month, I think. I don't think we come back until mid-August. So there's quite a while before the Albanese government, the Prime Minister, and probably their Workplace Relations Minister, Tony Burke, start to come under a bit of pressure during question time from the opposition. And there's no doubt that is going to happen. But you're right. The government has, to a certain extent, been able to control the narrative here, because Parliament's not sitting, and of course you've got all of the stuff that's gone on with Trump and Biden in America, which is swallowing up a lot of that oxygen. And so the government, to a certain extent, and Anthony Albanese, have been able to control the message and the narrative of what's going on here by, coming out saying, oh, well, we are doing something about it. We've appointed an administrator, or we want to appoint an administrator to take over the CFMEU and to clean it out and that sort of thing. So by the time Parliament does sit, and by the time they do face question time, they can say, well, since these allegations first aired more than a month ago, we've been doing X, Y, and Z. So I suppose to a certain extent it dampens the opposition's attack on it. But I don't think that this is going to go away, because the opposition's going to come back and say the fact that you got rid of the Australian Building and Construction Commission has led to this crisis that we've got now.
I want you to do a bit of poll analysis for us, Michael. We, of course, had the Resolve poll come out earlier this week. They had the Labor primary vote with a 2 in front of it. It was pretty extraordinary. And whether you want to say, we shouldn't talk at length about polls in isolation, if you take all the polls we've had in the last 3 or 4 months, they do point to a dramatic narrowing of a gap between the parties, the assessment of each leader in the preferred Prime Minister rating as well. Is it getting close enough yet that alarm bells are sounding within federal Labor, do you think, or are they still comfortable because of the teal component that makes it the pathway back to Kirribilli so hard for the LNP?
Look, I don't think alarm bells are ringing within Labor ranks as yet, but I do think that concern is starting to creep in. Because I think that what people are starting to realise now, that the likelihood at the next election is going to be a hung parliament. That means that more than likely that Labor will still win more seats than the coalition, but they're going to probably have to form a deal with either the Teal Independents or the Greens. Clearly, Anthony Albanese is not going to want to do a deal with the Greens, and it'll have to be more than likely it'll be with the Teal Independents. So there is that concern that's starting to creep in. At a time when you've got a cost of living crisis and the economy is a little bit wobbly, the last thing that you need is a minority government. But it looks as though that's where things are heading. One thing I will tell you about the polls that a few people have told me, we do see that the Liberal Party is doing pretty well in the polls. Their primary vote is up. In fact, I think it's about 10 points ahead almost of the Labor Party. But what some people have been telling me, and this is even some people within Liberal ranks, they're saying, what they think is happening is that seats that the Liberals and Nationals currently hold, they're doing better in. They're not necessarily making up ground in areas that they need to win, like in Labor seats that they need to snatch, or in some of the Teal seats that they need to snatch back. They're just doing better in seats that they currently hold, and that's what's, I suppose, inflating their primary vote. The Liberal Party and the Nationals, to a certain extent, do still need to do better in trying to win back those independent seats, in trying to make sure that they shore up seats in the regions and all that sort of thing to actually try and govern within their own right. Because the coalition, they need about 20 or more than 20 seats to be able to govern in their own right. And the likelihood of winning that many seats at the next election, I think, is pretty slim. And remember, the next election now is less than a year away.
It is very interesting analysis and great insight as always. Thank you, Michael. Michael Packey, the National Political Editor for 9 Radio.
After the break, Jade Robran out on the road and flashback with Michael Smith. But first, here's traffic. And if you are out and about on the road, we'd love to hear what the weather's doing. The rain expected to come in a bit later this morning. But if it's drizzly already where you are, we'd love to hear from you. 8223 0000.
Thanks, Lucy. Roads looking really good for the running today. Busy in the normal spots, south or at Theberton both directions. Starting to build Main North Road at Enfield heading to the city, and sluggish at the moment Marion Road at the Anzac Highway intersection. Works at Hallett Cove, Lonsdale Road near Majors Road, and we've got early morning cameras Nan Road Woodside, and go on setting up as we speak Osmond Terrace at Norwood. Freedom's 25% off store-wide sale starts tomorrow. Get 25% off all sofas, furniture, outdoor mattresses and homewares. Sale starts tomorrow only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Emergencies are no time to be making tough choices. Luckily, when it comes to the best emergency care, your choice is clear. Calvary Adelaide is South Australia's newest state-of-the-art hospital. With Adelaide's only 24-hour private emergency department, Calvary provides emergency care at any time with no time spared. You'll experience shorter wait times, personalised attention from experienced specialists and nurses, and comfortable modern facilities. Trust Calvary Adelaide, 120 Angus Street, Adelaide.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. Jump in the J-Go. Jump in the J-Go. Yeah, that's the best freedom I know.
NRG Solar knows that solar isn't just about panels. It's about future-proofing. Start your journey to self-sufficiency today. Be the visionary. Take charge. NRG Solar's new warehouse is fully stocked with a stunning range of wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself. Discover the power of solar at NRG Solar. Call 1300 858 160 or visit nrgsolar.com.au and make tomorrow brighter. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
5 years. That's around 1,300 cycles in the dishwasher, 1,825 cups of coffee, and 3,650 pieces of toast. 5 years is also the length of the warranty on selected Smeg appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery. Get in quick though, because this offer is only available from the 1st of July till the 31st of July. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, head to promotions.smeg.com.au. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
Here's some great news from Darren and Chris at ACET Transport Solutions. They've just added crane trucks on their fleet. These rigid trucks have their own crane for safe loading and unloading, perfect for the big stuff. With over 20 years of experience and over 200 vehicles in their fleet, there's plenty of rigid crane trucks on deck ready for your next delivery. Whatever the load, ACET Transport Solutions will handle your delivery safely.
Don't just send it. ACET.
Don't just send it, ACET.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
7:50 this Friday, the 19th of July. Good news, David Pemberthy will return on Monday morning. Good couple of texts here coming in for the meat tray. All thanks to my local butcher at Chanella's. Which movie character do you associate with an Australian politician? We'd love your calls as well. 8223 0000 this morning. Out on the roads for us is Jade Robrin. Morning to you, Jade.
Good morning, guys. A story just breaking now. A lot of us like a glass or two of alcohol every now and then. Now, you might have noticed when at the bottle-o, a lot of drinks now, they've got low sugar and or low carb advertised on them. Well, calls today from the Cancer Council to ban those claims. They say that alcohol companies are bombarding buyers with as many as 8 labels on a bottle. Now, you might have noticed they've got low sugar, fair trade certified, sustainably grown, low carb, vegan, no added sugar, labels. Well, the Cancer Council believes that by putting these labels on the bottles that you're making people think that the product appears to be healthier than what it really is, saying that it's sneaky marketing tactics and they're exploiting health-conscious consumers out there. Well, a new report released by the Cancer Council of Victoria says that this kind of marketing, it really does play on a product's nutritional benefits, eco-friendliness, or it plays on, a buyer's social conscience, and that has increased people going out and buying almost 20% more in over a 10-year period. Now, next week there's a big meeting between Australia and New Zealand's food ministers, and the Cancer Council is calling on them to do something about it, including making a call to remove all those labels off alcohol packaging. Now, I've been on social media sites this morning just getting a bit of a gauge of reaction to this story, and interestingly, most of it, the public's feedback to this idea has been mostly negative from what I've seen. People are just simply fed up with organisations telling them what to do. A lot of the comments saying something along the lines of, just let us be adults and make our own decisions. We're not all stupid out there. Whereas others have said, hey, look, I only drink once or twice a month, and when I do, I like to make healthier options. And the labels, help them make those decisions. But guys, I don't need a label. Just give me a big-bodied red from the Barossa with all the sugar and carbs that it probably packs into it, and I'm a happy chappy.
Thank you, Jade. I'm with you there tonight. Might be the perfect night to settle in with a cosy bottle of red, if that's your taste.
We're going to war with alcohol producers in this country at a time when alcohol consumption's been at its lowest per capita ever. Like, it peaked in the 70s. I feel like this fight's been run and won, and by and large, young people aren't imbibing like they once did at all. And now that as we're discovering, that might come with other social ills. Like, that might be, we may have traded one set of problems for another much worse set of problems. But I don't know, the enthusiasm with which, I think problematic alcohol consumption is something that absolutely should be targeted. That should be the subject of everyone's energy and campaign. I don't know, the person who wants to pick something that's slightly less, has fewer calories than another option because they can have 2 drinks on a Friday night. Well, I think that we're wasting our time going after these people.
You said it, Will.
It's time to Flashback with Michael Smith.
Morning to you, Michael.
Good morning, Lucy and Will. Of course, the athletes have started arriving in Paris overnight for the Olympics. So on Flashback this week, we're going to wind the clock back to the games of the 23rd Olympiad, Los Angeles, 1984. I can't believe it was 40 years ago. I heard Bruce McAvaney on your show the other day, Lucy, talking fondly about his memories of LA, because, of course, they were the first games that he ever went to.
Yes.
But LA was remarkable for a number of reasons. You might remember the spectacular opening ceremony. There were rocket men flying around the LA Coliseum wearing jetpacks. There were thousands and thousands of balloons and 84 grand pianos belting out Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. But the LA Games were particularly significant for South Australia. Australia won 4 gold medals in LA, and 3 of those 4 gold medals involved South Australians. Mike Turter won gold in cycling as part of the men's 4,000-metre team pursuit, Australia's first cycling gold since Melbourne in '56. You might remember a young tuna fisherman from Port Lincoln, Dean Lokan, who won Australia's first gold medal in weightlifting ever, lifting a shabby 240 kilos above his head. That's the equivalent of 2 fridges, and he famously went out to celebrate by buying a hamburger. And then there was Glynis Nunn, the former Siena College teacher, who took on arguably one of the most difficult challenges at the Olympics, the heptathlon. She had to shine in 7 events, ranging from the javelin and hurdles to long jump and, of course, running. And it came down to that final 800-metre event to determine who won the gold. I've caught up with Glynis, but first, let's hear Bruce McAvaney's call.
It's Everts in front. Glynis has got to keep going. She's going to win the gold. Everts first, Nunn second. I think she's got the gold.
Australia's first track and field gold since Mexico '68 goes to Glynis Nunn of Australia.
It was a pretty special time in 1984, and it's certainly something that I won't forget.
A special time and a life-changing time for Glynis as well. She told me that she went from being a humble athlete to effectively public property. People would come up to her at Coles and Woolies to check out what she had in her shopping trolley once she got back from the LA Games. And people might remember there was a sensational ticker tape parade for our gold medal winners from LA down King William Street. But a funny story there too. Despite being able to lift 240 kilos at the Games, when he got up to the balcony of the town hall to be greeted by Premier John Bannon and the Lord Mayor, Dean Lokan had a hell of a lot of trouble getting the cork out of the champagne. You'll see that on Sunday night as well.
Thank you, Michael. Flashback, of course, Sunday nights during the 6 o'clock 7 News every Sunday with Michael Smith, and every Thursday or Friday with us here on FIVEAA Breakfast.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that on Sunday night. Just having a look at the medal tally from 1984. South Australia, if we were a country then, at LA, would have finished ahead of Sweden, Mexico, Morocco, Brazil, Spain, Belgium, not a big country, but usually punches above its weight in an Olympic sense. It's quite a and then forgetting the proportion of medals won for Australia at that particular Olympic Games, a remarkable achievement. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to talk about, we might do this over the course of the Olympics, us being hopelessly parochial here on FIVEAA. Where does South Australia sit on the medal tally? If it's good, we'll do it. If it's not, we'll pretend I never had that idea.
Olympics, of course, start in exactly 1 week. Will be the opening ceremony in Paris, Friday the 26th. Just before the 8 o'clock news, had a few texts here about the resemblance between Albo and Elmer Fudd.
A lot of people have said that.
A lot of people have said dead ringer from Elmer Fudd. Bill from the Bay in Moonta Bay said that one just recently. He's also said it started drizzling here half an hour ago.
It's going to do more than drizzle over the course of today. Tonight is going to be wild, depending on where you are.
Going to check in exactly what we're in for with Casey Treloar from 7 News after the 8 o'clock news. Also after the 8 o'clock news, your chance to win 2 tickets to watch the Adelaide Thunderbirds take on the Melbourne Vixens. It's their major semi-final this Saturday here in Adelaide. The Thunderbirds finished top of the minor league this season of the Suncorp Super Netball comp, but their major semi-final is this Saturday against the Vixens. We have your chance to win 2 tickets for that after the 8 o'clock news.
Catch all the action from the Olympic Games in Paris as FIVEAA brings you Nine's coverage live from July 27. Don't miss a minute of the action as our Aussie stars set their sights on gold medal glory. Tune in each evening following Leith Forest as we cross to France for Nine's coverage. Paris 2024 live from July 27 on FIVEAA. Always Adelaide.
It all started with a pen and paper 35 years ago. Lots of ideas and a ton of innovation. Nothing's changed. Beechwood Homes is still building stunning bespoke homes right across South Australia. Under construction right now is another Beechwood Homes masterpiece at Blackwood Park. This new display home will showcase Beechwood's dedication to cutting-edge design, craftsmanship and innovation. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
For 40 years, Steinborner has been well worth the trip for a new used or demo vehicle. Back in the day, Michael Steinborner opened Steinborner Holden with just 6 staff on a single site in Gawler. Now they have operations in Gawler, Clare and the Barossa Valley, employing and training around 100 staff, and continue to invest in local community groups with a focus on junior sports. Steinborner Automotive, celebrating 40 years of being well worth the trip for thousands of South Australians.
Stay warm this winter with Mac Trade Services. Take advantage of huge SA government rebates on reverse cycle air conditioners. If you are a concession card holder, you can get a reverse cycle Actron air conditioner from only $599, supplied and installed. That's nearly a 70% discount off the normal price. Get in quick while stocks last. Visit the Mac Trade Services office in Rose Park or call 1300 430 917.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Rain developing and 14 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Jess Adamson.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
It's been revealed an Adelaide man nearly died after taking a street-bought oxycodone pill. He had to be resuscitated at the RA but has since been discharged. SA health authorities fear illicit drugs are being laced with a potentially deadly synthetic opioid, protonitazine, and have issued a public warning. The drug can produce life-threatening toxic effects even at low doses. Federal police are investigating one of the biggest cyber attacks in Australian history. Half the population impacted by a hack on e-prescription provider MediSecure. Liz Daniels reports.
12.9 million Australians who used the MediSecure eScript service between March 2019 and November 2023 have had their data compromised. Names, home addresses, phone numbers, Medicare card numbers and health information like prescriptions and GP details stolen, with a limited data set posted on the dark web by suspected Russian hackers. MediSecure went into administration after learning of the breach because of the cost of investigating it. In a statement online, it's assuring Australians you can continue to access medicines safely and healthcare providers can still prescribe and dispense as usual through the National Prescription Delivery Service, ERX.
Police are hunting a person seen running away from a car fire at Ferryden Park. The Audi was torched on Bayfield Court just before midnight. Witnesses reported seeing a tall person in dark clothing flee the scene as the fire took hold. A police dog was called in, but the offender hasn't been found. 9 Country Fire Service personnel will fly to Canada tomorrow to deal with the country's escalating wildfires. The staff and volunteers, including 2 firefighters from the Department of Environment and Water, will assist teams in Alberta and British Columbia. There are hundreds of active fires in Canada's provinces. For the second consecutive year, our CFS crew will work in control centres and on the front line. The federal government insists the appointment of an independent administrator will help stamp out corruption within the construction union. Labor has cut ties and blocked donations from the CFMEU after it was accused of criminal behaviour. Senior Government Minister Bill Shorten says appropriate action is being taken.
There's no doubt that the government has acted. The revelations this week were news, but I tell you what, the administrator will straighten out. There is no doubt the CFMU, this is not just a couple of rotten apples. They have developed a culture of allowing themselves to be infiltrated by elements of organised crime, and that is a betrayal of construction workers.
Barack Obama is reportedly telling allies President Joe Biden needs to seriously think about his future. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley.
Joe Biden was Barack Obama's vice president. Now the former commander-in-chief is raising his concerns about the 81-year-old's viability as a candidate for the Democrats. The Washington Post reports Obama has told allies the chances of President Biden winning November's election are diminishing. He's the latest senior Democrat to voice his concerns. Nancy Pelosi, the former House Speaker, and Chuck Schumer, the Senate Democrat leader, reportedly did so in person with the president. Joe Biden remains in isolation, having been diagnosed with COVID-19 and facing arguably the most consequential days of his American presidency.
turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Corey Norris.
Thank you, Jess. Good morning. Injuries has forced Port Adelaide into 4 changes for tomorrow night's clash against Richmond. Willie Rioli and Asava Radagalia have been recalled after impressive stints in the Sandful. Mitch Georgiades is back from suspension. The Crows will rest veteran Taylor Walker for tonight's battle with Essendon at Marvel Stadium following 2 6-day breaks. Defender Mitch Hinge will return from a groin injury. The Lions' Charlie Cameron and Giants' Toby Bedford are free to play this week after their 3-game suspensions were overturned by the appeals board. AFL legend Mick Malthouse has told Today the players and coaches are all confused about what's legal.
Concussions are a consequence to a tackle, but they're perfect tackles. I think the lunatics are running the asylum at the AFL at the moment. We had to have a sheriff come in last night and straighten it out.
Australian golfer Cameron Smith is blaming a bad day for his disastrous start to the Open Championship in Scotland. The former champion finished 9 over par after his first round, struggling in the wet and windy conditions at Royal Troon.
I mean, if you had told me yesterday that I was going to shoot that, I wouldn't have said that was possible, but yeah, just a bit of a crappy start and didn't really manage to hole any putts when I needed to kind of get back in it.
Adam Scott and Minwoo Lee, the best of the Aussies at 1 under and even par respectively. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Corey. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
G'day there at Thorngate. Got a car fire to look out for today. It's on Fitzroy Terrace just at the main North Road area, causing delays. Slow for works at Port Adelaide today. Commercial Road near Charlottesville Street, getting busy at Modbury North. McIntyre Road near Milne Road and slow south through to Featherton. Cameras Green Hill Road, Burnside. I've got a camera right now, Osmond Terrace at Norwood. Quitting smoking is hard, but so is heart disease, emphysema and mouth cancer. Choose your hard and choose to give up for good. Visit health.gov.au/give up for good. This message is brought to you by the Australian Government, Canberra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Rain developing, windy and 14 today. Showers, wind easing and 15 for tomorrow. 16 for Sunday with a shower or 2. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Welcome to Life's Key Moments, brought to you by First National Real Estate.
The key to my home where my furry friends are always welcome.
The key to endless adventures in my retirement.
The key to growing our own veggies and plenty of space for the kids to play.
The key to living the dream away from the big smoke.
The kids and girls night every night.
Your key to happiness awaits. Visit firstnational.com.au or call 1800 032 332. First National Real Estate. We put you first.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
Arbor Vitae health supplements are now available at Chemist Warehouse for just $49.99 a bottle. You save over $19 a bottle at Chemist Warehouse.
Arbor Vitae.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
8 minutes after 8. Good morning to you this Friday. We're expecting some wild weather coming up. We'll check in with Casey Trelaw from 7 News in a moment. Bill from Moonta Bay has said it's already started drizzling over in Moonta. If it started drizzling or it's cloudy or foggy or windy already wherever you are, we'd love to hear from you this morning. 0448 08 1395. Also, please give us a ring for your chance to head along to see the Adelaide Thunderbirds taking on the Melbourne Vixens, their major semi-final tomorrow at Adelaide 36's Arena. We'd love a couple of callers to take part in a quiz for the Thunderbirds tickets. It's a Thunderbirds themed quiz. 8223 0000. We've got 2 doubles to give away. Give us a ring now for your chance to win. Joining us now, before we get to Dan Houston of the Port Adelaide Footy Club, also coming up this half hour, is Casey Trelaw from 7 News, does the weather Monday to Friday. Morning to you, Casey.
Morning, Lucy, and morning, Will. Yeah, pretty frightening weather front coming through. Potential to be the strongest system we've seen in quite some time, and Adelaide is right in the firing line. We've got, look, it's not too bad this morning. It is windy, so if you've got some time before you head off to work, I would recommend, putting some loose items inside or holding down the trampoline in case it goes flying later on today, because it will be later this afternoon and into the evening that we're going to see some pretty strong winds. We're talking winds that will be averaging potentially between 60 and 70 kilometres an hour, with wind gusts up to 100 k's an hour. So, pretty strong front coming through.
Where do you think it'll be most ferocious, Casey?
Look, it's a pretty sparse, a pretty wide area, to be honest.
Okay.
Right down the west coast. A lot of coastal areas. So right down the west coast, or the bottom of York Peninsula, bottom of Eyre Peninsula. We're talking the whole of Kangaroo Island, Adelaide, all through the Mount Lofty ranges, really facing it, especially the western slopes, down along the Fleurieu and right down the southeast as well. So really spread right across the state, but it'll sort of gradually come through. It is starting to impact areas now. We've already seen a wind gust of 85 kilometres an hour on Kangaroo Island, so already pretty gusty there. But not just winds too. We're talking some pretty serious rain to come through as well. And as we heard from one of your listeners, it's already starting to impact York Peninsula and likely to hit the city from about 10 a.m, but the more serious rain is going to settle in from about midday.
I think they're talking chance of hail as well, Casey. We haven't seen hail heaps this winter. I know every winter we get the videos and people commenting that the car damage, but I don't think we've seen a lot of hail from your reporting, I don't think.
No, we haven't. It's been a relatively, I guess, what we might call a mild winter. We haven't had a lot of big systems or cold systems or lots of rain and hence not a lot of hail either. Just the potential for small hail today, so not expecting any major damage to come from that or any warnings to come from large hailstones, but nonetheless, hail potentially on the way across parts of the state, and that's including to the city as well today.
I know you like to be scientific about the weather, Casey, but the Bureau is saying 10 to 25 mils. If you had to guess within that range, do you reckon we're getting closer to 25 or 10 today?
Oh, golly. Well, look, it is. We will have a front of rain, and then it's going to be a bit patchy and isolated after that. So it's kind of a case of the city could get 25, but then North Adelaide could get 10. So it depends where it falls and lands. I wouldn't want to be a betting woman on
Good answer, Casey.
rainfall totals today.
Well handled.
However,
that's why Casey's a pro.
we are looking at some pretty substantial totals up through the Mount Lofty ranges and southern coastal fringes too. So there's going to be some pretty handy rainfall in this system, which I'm sure many of our areas will be looking forward to. They probably just wouldn't want the wind to come with it.
Which makes it sound like, Casey, it's going to be pretty, it's starting to get wild at around 6:30 tonight. So have you found out, have our news bosses, are they sending you to stand out in a storm somewhere, or are you going to be in the studio tonight?
Look, I've kept the location open, but I'm sure they'll want me front and centre in the thick of it. I was planning on being in the hills tonight, which might actually bode well because the hills will be coughing it especially bad. So look, it's not just this afternoon and early evening. This is going to be happening right through the night and into Saturday morning. So pretty serious and extended front for everyone to deal with today.
Casey, you're a legitimate farmer, and I'm not sure if you caught the sunrise earlier this morning, but it was a deep fuchsia, I'm calling it, and it disappeared pretty quickly, but I alerted Will to the fact that usually a deep fuchsia hectic sunrise indicates bad weather. Do you follow that that protocol on the farm? What's the saying, Will?
Red sky at morning, shepherd's warning?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, no, look, an old wives' tale, but certainly one that many of us stick by for sure. And look, if I'll be honest, I was not up at sunrise hour today, but if it was bright red, well then there we go. We've got a big warning on the way.
Wonderful. Thank you, Casey. Good luck with your weather reporting tonight out in the elements.
Thank you.
Casey Trelaw, the weather girl for 7 News there, Monday to Friday. Casey also lives in the Adelaide Hills, which will be heaviest hit, so as she said, batten down, tie up any loose objects, make sure your cars aren't parked under any trees. But good news on the hail front, if it's going to be hailing, hopefully no golf ball sizes. Now 8223 for your chance to win Thunderbirds tickets. We're just going to play a Thunderbirds themed quiz here. We've got 2 doubles to give away to the semi-final tomorrow. Adelaide Thunderbirds taking on the Melbourne Vixens. 8223 Julie in Gold Creek has called in first. Morning to you, Julie.
Good morning.
Now, are you ready for our first question, Julie? Good luck.
Yes, I'm terrible, but let's go.
No, that's all right.
I absolutely love the Thunderbirds. I watch them, but when it comes to names and all that, look, let's just go with the flow.
No, that's all right. Now, if you get it wrong, Julie, we do have a second person on the line, so we'll go to them. But good luck. The Thunderbirds have been crowned premiers 5 times in their history. How many times, though, have they ended the regular season in second place on the ladder?
I'll give you a hint, Julie. It's more than 5 times.
Really?
So they've been premiers 5 times, but how many times have they ended the minor season in second place?
In second place. Oh, look, this is just a guess because 7.
Oh, I'm sorry, Julie, it's not.
That's okay.
Oh, good try,
But very
Julie.
close. Let's go to Olivia. Good morning. Did you hear the question?
I did.
Yes. What is your answer? It's more than 5.
I'll guess 6.
Oh, congratulations. Where's my dinger? There it is. Congratulations, Olivia. You're off
Well
to
done,
the
Olivia.
Thunderbirds.
Well,
Thank you.
Are you a big netballer, Olivia?
Yes, love it, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, you'll be able to get along tomorrow to see them take on the Melbourne Vixens in the major semi-final.
If you want to jump on a bandwagon, there's no better one to jump on at the moment. Certainly, if you're a disgruntled footy fan, there's not a lot to be excited about if you've been a local sports fan of late outside of the Thunderbirds. So even if you haven't supported them before, it's well worth your time to try and get along or jump on the bandwagon because there's some good times ahead.
You know what? Julie had a good crack. She was close. She was one off. She's a big netball fan. We'll send Julie along as well.
Oh, see, that's why I like having you in here, Luce. You can just make executive decisions.
It's Friday. I'm feeling generous with my prizes. So Julie
Good.
will send you some Thunderbirds tickets as well to get along to watch them play the Melbourne Vixens in the major semi-final tomorrow at the Adelaide 36ers Arena down there in Findon. A couple of good texts coming in on the Duttons text line this morning. Bob Hawke looked like Yoda from Star Wars. Somebody, Brad in One Tree Hill says, Peter Dutton resembles an eerily resemblance to the famous painting The Scream.
That's actually quite good, Brad. I don't mind that one at all.
Thank you, Brad. Dutton's text line this morning, 0448 08 1395. Let's get to traffic. Coming up after the break, though, Dan Houston from the Port Adelaide Footy Club.
Thanks, Lucy. Cleaning up after an earlier car fire at Thorngate, Main North Road near Fitzroy Terrace. A little busy at the moment at Plimpton for works, Marion Road near Anzac Highway. Quite slow, Port River Expressway at Port Adelaide. And got works to look out for at Angle Park, South Road near Green Junction Road. Cameras Arthur Street, Tranmere. I've got one active right now, Osmond Terrace at Norwood. Make the most of Volkswagen's ultimate Amarok sale event in the Amarok Life from $60,990 drive away with a free 5-year care plan. Ends September 30, T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Lowe and Tim Jennifer.
Charlie Cameron has been cleared at the appeals board.
Wow.
He's free to play. The tribunal fell into, quote, error of law, according to the appeals board.
Wow, that is huge news. Robbo, has sanity prevailed?
Oh, I don't know if it has, to be honest.
The 5AA Sports Show.
This is a massive curveball.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Beechwood Homes, Adelaide's leading bespoke home builder, celebrates 35 years. Over that time, they've helped many hundreds of people realise their dream of building a home exactly how they envisioned it. That's the wonderful thing about building with Beechwood. There are no set plans, no set rules. It all starts with a pen, paper, and your ideas. Just like it did 35 years ago. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
5 years. That's around 1,300 cycles in the dishwasher, 1,825 cups of coffee, and 3,650 pieces of toast. 5 years is also the length of the warranty on selected Smeg appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery. Get in quick though, because this offer is only available from the 1st of July till the 31st of July. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, head to promotions.smeg.com.au. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
They're officially back. Nuggies, the delectable cosy winter boots designed to look like Macca's iconic chicken nuggets.
From now until August 6th, you'll find Nuggies at Macca's for a limited time only. You can win your very own pair. It's as easy as purchasing any valid size pack, finding the boot-shaped chicken McNuggets and scanning for your chance to win.
We're also giving 10 lucky listeners the opportunity to win their own pair of Nuggies. All you have to do is be listening from Monday for all the details.
For more information on Macca's Nuggies, including full T's and C's, go to mcdonalds.com.au/boot pursuit. Competition ends 5 p.m. AEST August 6th, 2024. SA permit number T24/1124.
Eliminate the middleman with JB Caravans. JB Caravans are a factory direct caravan dealership, and they're having their grand opening sale next week from Thursday to Sunday. Check out full off-road hybrids from $79,990 and Aussie-made touring vans from $74,990, as well as incredible deals on off-road vans, Iveco motorhomes and cash and carry gear. Don't miss JB Caravans grand opening sale, July 25 to 28, 11 to 37 Port Wakefield Road, Jeps Cross, or visit jbcaravans.com.au.
Whether you're in the market for a small, mid or large Toyota SUV, your journey starts at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park. Walk through their brand new state-of-the-art undercover showroom for new and demo vehicles in stock across the range. Yaris Cross, Corolla Cross, RAV4, Kluger and Land Cruiser. Your Toyota SUV journey starts at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park. Proudly celebrating 23 years of great deals.
Know the news with Adelaide's 7 News. Don't miss Adelaide's leading news hour tonight at 6 o'clock.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
Dan Houston for the moment of all moments for Port Adelaide. It's online. Port Adelaide have done it again.
Dan Houston, all thanks to the Excelsior Hotel. It's always felt like home with meals from just $12. Got to love the Excelsior Hotel. Good morning to you, Dan.
Good morning, Lucy. Good morning, Will.
Looking nice and tanned. I think we're about to say the same thing from the Gold Coast.
Yeah, it was good to see a little bit of sun up there for a bit. Went up a day early and got to enjoy the sun and the weather, and then get a little bit of training in pre-game, and a little bit of a mental refresher with that weather.
Up north, got warm, didn't get the 4 points though, which I'm sure will have disappointed you. Called the game on the weekend, and we don't usually do a lot of nuts and bolts footy when we chat in the mornings, but something struck me sitting next to Campo, who was doing our special comments, in his analysis of you guys, and it was a good point. And maybe it's been, I'll ask you, something that's a theme of games you haven't been able to come away with the 4 points over the course of the year, when there's an even sort of a talent match. He said for a side in Port Adelaide that has guys like Dan Houston and Kane Farrell and so many good users behind the ball, he said, as someone who doesn't watch the side all the time, coming in and doing the game day analysis, surprised how slowly the ball was being moved against Gold Coast, when there was, in his view, the talent's there to have gone hard, fast and attacked. Is that deliberate, or is that when you guys are off 5%, do you think?
Yeah, I think, looking back at the game, we took 134 marks,
Yeah.
which is huge, and I can see how that comes across as being slow. A lot of the vision we watched, when we played fast, we looked really attacking, but being able to play fast for 120 minutes is just not possible. So I felt like when we played fast, we got some really good looks. We probably weren't able to convert inside 50 and get that connection. And then when we did play a little bit slower to sort of, re-energize ourselves, that's when it probably looked a little bit slow, because we weren't able to get the connection inside 50. And then when we did have to slow it down, we weren't getting much score from that. So, we did take that feedback on from the coaches, and they sort of listened to us as well. And we sort of felt like we just sort of broke down a little bit inside 50, which made it look like that.
One of the bright sparks of recent weeks is someone I don't think he's getting talked about enough, is Logan Evans. That kid, he's poised. He looks like he's a 100-game player already. What have you seen in him in terms of what he's been able to bring to the side? Because I've got to say, it's remarkable how he's taken to playing upper level.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think he's played 4 games, and he's a really confident character, and he loves footy. He loves asking questions and being all over it, and he's so composed with the ball, and he sort of fills that spot for us, which is in between our high backs and our key backs. So he can play a little bit taller and a little bit smaller. Uses the ball well, so he's going really well and improving every week.
Good news on the injury front with Todd Marshall, albeit that was one of the weirdest sorts of ways I've seen someone injure their hamstring or that part of their body before. What were your thoughts? Did you see it in the moment? And because he looked like he was in all sorts of pain, I don't know, they don't publish the weights anymore, but I reckon Charlie's tipping the scales well over 100, and having him have his full weight on you with your leg extended above your body looked like the yoga manoeuvre from hell.
Yeah, well, Charlie reckons he's pretty light at the moment. He's only 108 kilos. So, me and Todd have a similar sort of history with our hips. We have both had surgery on our hips, little clean outs. And I've had an instance before where I've got in that position where it gets jammed up, your hip from a weight, and then it just clicks and it keeps clicking, and you sort of need it to release, and that happens over a period of time, and that's pretty much what happened to Todd, speaking to him. So his hip got jammed right up with the light Charlie Dixon on him, lighter Charlie Dixon. I think he'll be fine. He did reach for his hammy. I'm pretty sure it is the hip.
But it was the hip. Yeah, it was hard to do. I've just never seen someone do the injury quite like that. Remarkable too. And the other side of the coin, you get bad injury news with Jeremy Finlayson too, the lacerated spleen. Remarkable that only showed up well after with him. What was he experiencing? A bit of abdominal pain.
Yeah, Jeremy did it in pretty much his first contest of the game, played throughout the whole game, and then after the game, I recall someone vomiting after the game, or hearing some sort of vomiting sounds, and it ended up being Jez, and didn't really know what had happened. He walked into the Virgin Lounge, and he was a little bit green or pale. And, he ended up making the flight back, and then we got told that he'd lacerated his spleen. So it obviously played the game, and then got really bad after the game, and unfortunately now he'll miss the rest of the season.
Do you read much of AFL.com?
No, not anymore.
Since when? About 2 days ago?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
I'll let our listeners in to know why. I don't even know what this sentence means, Dan, but you tell me. Victorian clubs have a trade watch on Port Adelaide star Dan Houston, who's contracted for another 3 seasons Port Adelaide. What does a trade watch mean? People ringing you up?
Nah, I guess this has happened before, with trade stuff and becoming to the silly season. So, obviously being from Melbourne, this stuff pops up for me, and it's popped up again, and all I can say is I'm contracted to Port for 3 more years. I'm really happy here, and I wouldn't have signed if I didn't like this place or love this place or the team. So I'm happy to deny that, and I'm a Port man.
Yeah, well, you said it on our program at the start of the year when we were joking about
when you pushed me to the wall and said, "Say it."
Well, we have a history here, so we thought we might just get it off and running straight away. Yeah. Well, that's good news, Dan. I was sorry to see that in the headlines. We still don't know what the turn of phrase, a trade watch, actually necessarily means. Richmond Saturday night. You've been doing wet weather footy training. You get soak the footies and any of that old-fashioned stuff?
I think that will be soaked by the time we get to training, looking outside at the moment. So, we have a big game tomorrow night and looking to get the 4 points, and having a look at the percentage. I think it might be important just to, if we can, pile on the points at some stage. So that'll be really important. Hopefully it dries up so, we can move the ball and not look too boring for you, Will.
It was all campo. I was gripped by what I was saying. Only joking. Have you ever had a season like this where 2nd to 13th is so close? Like, it often feels like when you come in, the difference in tone of the conversation between a win and a loss, it feels like it's ridiculous, frankly. Yeah. You're a world beaters or, the whole thing's fallen apart. It's a disaster. But this season, the ladder doesn't help that because you can win and be 4th, lose and be 9th. And it shapes the entire narrative. Yeah, it's a roller coaster, and the hardest part is coming in on a Monday and trying to stay level-headed because the next win's just as important as the weekend after. So you've got to try and stick at it. Teams are losing that should be winning, and teams are winning that should be losing. So it's just who can stay level-headed and keep banking the wins, and the points are becoming crucial, which is pretty good for us, I think. Like, I like, knowing that you've got to win by a lot and play the 4 quarters rather than, just bank the W. Yeah. Well, tomorrow night at Adelaide Oval against the Tigers will be a big opportunity to do that. Dan, all the best, mate. Cool. Thank you very much. Good luck. Dan Houston brought to us thanks to the Excelsior Hotel. They've always felt like home with meals from just $12. Got to love the Excelsior Hotel. Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriutpa. SA's newest Mazda dealership is now open. For 40 years, Steinborner has provided South Australians with outstanding customer service, exceptional value, and a large selection of new, used, and demo vehicles. The Steinborner story continues with the opening of their new state-of-the-art Mazda dealership in Barossa Valley. Barossa Mazda. It's well worth the trip. barossamazda.com.au. When you book a hearing test with Can Do Hearing, you'll be seen by an accredited audiologist. Can Do Hearing is South Australian, and we're not owned by a hearing aid manufacturer. This means we only recommend what's going to work for you.
and your options are almost endless. Plus the extra bonus? Our profits go to Can Do for Kids, supporting local kids living with hearing and vision loss. Book an appointment with Can Do Hearing today. candohearing.com.au. That sounds better.
Harris Scarf Big Stock Take Sale is on now. Save up to 60% off air fryers, kettles and toasters, plus 40 to 60% off cookware by Tefal, Scanpan, Rayco and more. Hurry, sale ends Sunday 21st of July. Exclusions apply. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices.
At McGain Real Estate, they want to help you with the most important asset in your life, your kids. We all know it's tough right now, what with the highest interest rates we've experienced in the last few years and house prices still booming.
But it's also the perfect time to build a plan for your kids' future, because the increased equity in your home could get your kids into theirs.
Imagine being able to help your kids get into their first home, so why not talk to the friendly and knowledgeable team at McGain Real Estate right now? They have the way to make that happen.
At Complete Care, we're more than just a care provider, we're a family. As we celebrate our 10th year, our mission remains the same: to empower our specialised team of carers and client service managers to help people living with a disability. We provide personalised services, including cleaning and home maintenance, to social support and transportation. We look after you like family, offering a warm, caring touch that sets us apart. At Complete Care, we're the company with heart. Complete Care, with a K.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
0000 rather. Feedback Friday this morning, 8223 0000. Call now. Everyone is a winner this morning. We have a $100 Samtas Seafoods voucher up for grabs and Illuminate tickets. We need 3 callers on the line, 8223 0000.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Rain on the way and 14 today. With the 8:30 news, I'm Jess Adamson.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. physioextra.com.
A severe weather warning has been issued for SA, with rain, damaging winds and even hail predicted today. Chris Kent from the Bureau says it will develop during the morning.
The wind we should start seeing arrive later this afternoon around Adelaide once that front moves through. So expecting gusts of around 100 kilometres per hour with winds around 60 to 70 kilometres per hour continuing during the overnight period.
The SES is advising people to take precautions. SA health authorities fear illicit drugs are being laced with a potentially deadly synthetic opioid. An Adelaide man had to be resuscitated in the RAH after he consumed a single street-bought oxycodone pill. Tests showed it contained large amounts of protonitazine, which can be toxic even in small amounts. Police are appealing to anyone with dashcam vision to contact them after a horror day on our roads yesterday. A 28-year-old Narracourt woman and her 4-year-old son are fighting for life after their car collided head-on with a truck in the state's southeast yesterday. Police say an 8-year-old girl somehow escaped injury. The truck driver, a 59-year-old Limestone Coast man, suffered minor injuries. The Riddock Highway has now reopened. Victor Harbour Road at Mount Jagged is also open to traffic again after a car and a ute collided yesterday. 7 people were taken to hospital, including a 26-year-old woman with life-threatening injuries and a 7-year-old boy. And an 85-year-old woman's being treated in hospital after her car collided with a parked truck at Strathalbyn late yesterday. Major crash officers are investigating all 3 incidents. Donald Trump is preparing to take the spotlight as US President Joe Biden isolates with COVID-19. He's preparing to make his first public address after being shot at during a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. Congressman Byron Donald says the presidential candidate will be focused on the road ahead when he takes to the stage at the Republican National Convention.
Every rally, every speech has been about the forgotten men and women of this country. And I think obviously after, the attempt on his life, I think that it's more than just a presidential campaign. It's more than a convention. This is about the very future of our country.
It comes as former President Barack Obama urges Joe Biden to pull out of the race. A cyber attack on an online prescription service is believed to have affected around 13 million Australians. Hackers threatened to release the personal data and health information of e-script service MediSecure customers in May. It's now believed to be one of the nation's largest hacks on record. Legendary comedian and actor Bob Newhart has died at the age of 94. The performer had his own TV series in the 70s and 80s, featured in the Christmas movie Elf, and won an Emmy for his role in The Big Bang Theory. His publicist says he died in LA after a series of short illnesses. High-tech robots are being sent to the depths of the ocean to conduct a 3D scan of the Titanic's wreckage site. The ship's namesake company will conduct its first expedition in 14 years. RMS Titanic Inc. spokesman James Penker says the robots will offer scientists an update on the doomed vessel's condition.
Titanic is deteriorating. She will not be here forever. There are certain parts of her deteriorating faster, and so a big part of this mission is seeing the lay of the land and seeing how she's doing, so we can know how to act in the coming years when it comes to recovery of artifacts.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Good morning, Corey Norris.
Good morning, Jess. The Crows will rest veteran Taylor Walker for tonight's clash against Essendon at Marvel Stadium, meaning Riley Thilthorpe has been promoted to the 18. Defender Mitch Hinge will return from a groin injury. They'll be aiming to cause an upset against the Bombers side that's in a bit of a form slump.
If you look at a lot of our numbers, we're playing a brand of footy that's going to give you a really good opportunity to win every game that you play. There aren't huge fluctuations, but at different stages this year we haven't been able to execute as we would like. So it's constant work in progress in that space, but I think the foundation is really solid.
That was Essendon coach Brad Scott. Injuries has forced Port Adelaide into 4 changes for Saturday night's battle with Richmond. Rioli, Radaglia, Georgiades and Williams have been recalled. Defender Dan Houston has hosed down speculation he could be a trade target at the end of the season.
Obviously being from Melbourne, this stuff pops up for me, and it's popped up again, and all I can say is I'm contracted to Port for 3 more years. I'm really happy here, and I wouldn't have signed if I didn't like this place or love this place or the team. So
that was Houston on 5AA Breakfast a short time ago. The Adelaide Thunderbirds will be chasing a spot in the Super Netball Grand Final when they host the Vixens in the semi-final tomorrow. It comes as the league announced a record crowds this season. More than 330,000 fans attended matches. Adam Scott is the best of the Australians at the British Open at Royal Troon. He's 1 under after his first round, 4 behind leader Shane Lowry. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Corey. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
G'day there at West High Marsh, a breakdown on the North-South motorway at the moment. It's near Grange Road. Slow for works at Morfordville, Morford Road near Maxwell Terrace. Busy at the moment at Mitchell Park, Marion Road near Sturt Road. And we're sluggish Brighton Road, Brighton. Cumberland 2, McGill Road and McGill. The Harvey Norman Furniture and Bedding run-out clearance is on now. Race in for up to 50% off lounges, dining, bedding, outdoor and more. The Harvey Norman run-out is on now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
14 and windy today with rain developing. 15 tomorrow with showers, a shower or 2 for Sunday with a top of 16. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
8:38 this Friday morning, 19th of July. David will be back on Monday for Breakfast with David and Will, the last half hour here on the show. We've got Feedback Friday and checking in with Jade Robran for National Lamington Day. It has just started spitting in the city. We're expecting wild weather, about mid-morning the rain, but the wind not till late. It just started spitting in the city. So if it's spitting or raining where you are, 0448 08 1395. Would love to hear from you. But first, it's time for Feedback Friday, where everyone is a winner today.
Feedback Friday today, so have your say feedback.
We've got our 3 callers on the line. Sorry to cut you off, Will. I'm just prepping you for Monday. $100 Send Seafoods voucher up for grabs, and 2 double passes to Illuminate this weekend. So everyone is a winner today. We'll declare that at the end. Let's get into our first caller. We've got Rebecca at Fullerton on the line. Morning, Rebecca.
Good morning, Lucy and Will. It's absolute pleasure to speak to you.
No, it's nice to have you on, Rebecca. I think everyone's a winner always on Feedback Friday, but you mean quite literally today. They're all
Quite
getting a prize,
literally, yeah. I'm feeling generous today from our prize kitty.
Okay, no, that's exciting. Rebecca, do you think there's been a more dramatic 3 weeks in US politics than this, from the presidential debate to the assassination attempt on the weekend?
Oh, well, it's hard to think of one. I mean, I was alive when the JFK assassination attempt was successful, although not able to fully appreciate it at the time. But this has certainly trumped everything.
Well said. I see what you did there. The Adelaide Crows are playing tonight, Friday Night Lights against the Bombers at Marvel. Do you think the Crows are any chance, Rebecca?
Yeah, I'm going for the Crows, absolutely. I think last week was a little a pivotal moment, and I will be watching and I will be hopeful.
Yeah. Rebecca, if you had to help a certain someone with their tips, how much of a margin do you reckon Crows will win by?
Oh, now that's a tricky one. 16 points.
Thank you, Rebecca. You'll find out on Monday if I'm thrilled with you or not.
Don't mind that. CFMEU President John Setka resigned last week. Have you ever been part of a union, Rebecca?
No, I have not. And I'm not a big fan of the Setka man.
No, I think
he doesn't come across well, let's say, in his media appearances, and bullies I don't think should be tolerated.
Yeah, he seems
There's a very serious note for you.
Yeah, no, you can be as silly or as serious as you like, Rebecca. We like it. I think he's very popular in his union, but not particularly popular outside of it.
Outside,
yeah.
Correct.
A rat was photographed in the RA this week. Do you freak out at the sight of a rat, Rebecca, or are you okay?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Not any rodents would you come across, Rebecca, or is it in particular rats?
I have neighbours who have chickens, and many years ago we were infested with rats, but thankfully the neighbours have been doing something because there haven't been any around for a while that I've seen. But I did have to put one in a bin one time, and that wasn't fun.
No, that's no good at all. Just lastly, Rebecca, sadly this week, Richard Simmons passed away, the famous fitness instructor. He was the leader of the 1980s aerobics craze. Have you ever watched or used an aerobics video in your time?
No. In those days, I was more interested in attending various drinking establishments.
Oh, okay. Enough said, Rebecca.
So, no aerobics for me in those days.
Very good. Thank you, Rebecca. Just hold the line there. We're going to go to Mark at Christie's Beach. Good morning to you, Mark.
Good morning, Luke. Good morning, Will.
Mark, do you have any memories of the 1981 assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan?
I do remember that one. Yeah, being shot in the street outside. I can't remember what building it was, but I do remember that one. Yeah.
Where were you at the time in 81?
81, just finished starting high school. There you go, 1981.
All right.
So, yeah, probably September or something like that, I think, maybe. So, yeah, first year of high school.
The opening ceremony for the Paris Olympics is now 1 week away. You'll be able to hear it here on 5AA, in fact. Is Sydney your favourite ever opening ceremony, or has there been one that you think has been better?
No, I think Sydney was brilliant. Well, it was absolutely fantastic.
It was good. It's hard to think now. It's nearly 25 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah. It still feels like just yesterday. Qantas is going to start flying up to 20 hours non-stop across the world next year on their Project Sunrise flights. Do you think you could sit in an economy chair for 20 hours plus?
I've done Adelaide to Dubai and Adelaide to Doha. That's 13 hours. I think that's enough for me, I think.
Yeah, 20.
I think a bit of a break to stretch the legs and get out of the tube.
20's a long.
I'm with you, Mark.
20's a big ass.
14's my limit.
It's a long fall.
Yeah. As we've got some real weather we're going to talk about over the course of today, but as we hit the depths of cold weather this weekend, what's your favourite go-to winter warmer for dinner?
A nice lamb roast.
Yeah, you can't go past the lamb roast. It feels like winter.
Yeah. Or a good slow cook. It's starting to sound like Penberthy, aren't we?
Yeah, we had to get some in.
It's all right. We'll be back on Monday. I was going to say, though, for on the cheaper side of things, baked beans with toast with melted cheese on it.
We haven't hit our quota
of
food references this week, Mark, so you just helped us out, mate. That's good. The price of olive oil has exploded in recent times. Olives on their own are a bit polarising. You a fan or not, Mark?
Stuffed olives, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love olives.
Yeah. Absolutely sensational.
Great. Good on you, mate.
Calamari olive on a pizza.
Oh,
there
now you're talking. That's
another
good
food
stuff.
reference.
Yeah, we've saved them all just for you, Mark. Thank you very much. Let's go to our third Feedback Friday participant, Debbie in Semaphore. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you going?
Very well, thank you, Debbie.
Debbie, and this question's changed a bit over the course of this morning, but given the events of the last week, do you personally think that US President Joe Biden will contest the US election in November?
I feel that, he's too old. I've got my mother who's like 85, a little bit older than Biden, and I look at their way of thinking. Not that it's wrong or right, but it is different, and I think that's going to be a scary time. But, Trump's only a couple of years younger than Biden, and I think their way of thinking is just completely different than, maybe 50s, 60s they need to look at, maybe so.
Yeah, it's a very different story here in Australia. Prince George was at the European Championship final on Monday watching England play Spain with his father, Prince William, of course. Now, 10-year-old George was wearing a suit at the match. Do you think he should have been allowed to dress like a 10-year-old boy at the soccer or stick to the protocol?
I understand the protocol as well, but maybe he should have had his footy jumper under his jacket, and then he could just flash his colours now and then.
That's a nice idea. That's a good compromise, Debbie. I like your thinking there.
Hybrid of outfits.
Have you, like almost everyone, Debbie, been the victim of a huge insurance premium lift on your house or car this year?
Yes. I suppose I haven't got lots of stuff that's insured, but obviously your house and stuff. But we do look for, we don't go to multiple places to get like the best deal. We searched a couple that we kind of like the company of or the name of, and we kind of gauge from that price. But I try to stick away the real cheap ones because sometimes they're just too cheap and it's too good to be true. And when you do claim, that's when you have problems. But I try. I just scan for a couple, and then we gauge what the good price is out of those few that we like.
Yeah.
Got good reputation, so to speak.
That's fair enough. Hey, until this week, Debbie, had you ever heard of the band Tenacious D?
Oh, yes, I have heard. Yes, I didn't get tickets. I did look at it when they were going to come. I would have been upset because they cancelled. I know a little bit of it. I can't think of songs now, but I do like Jack Black. And
he's very
movies and stuff. Yeah.
Tribute was the big song I remember from Tenacious D growing up.
Can you sing a bit of it?
No, I can't.
I can't do the tune. Oh, okay.
Good try, Debbie. Great
Debbie,
try.
That never happening. Just lastly, it's World Lamington Day on Sunday. Lucy's dubious on jam in a Lamington. Do you think jam belongs in a Lamington?
I like just plain sponge with no.
All right.
It's like having cream in it as well. No. I like just plain sponge.
You and Lucy have
With
decided,
you, Debbie. Thank you.
You've decided. Thank you.
I'm going to be hated probably now.
No, Debbie, that's all right. I'll back you up.
Guess what? You know what, Debbie? You say enough things on the radio and someone's going to hate you. That's just that's reality.
You should see our text line every morning, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie and Semaphore there. I reckon... Samtas seafood voucher, Will. Who do you like? $100 worth of seafood.
Rebecca.
Rebecca in Fullerton, congratulations, Samtas Seafood. For all the best quality seafood at best prices, Samtas open 7 days factory direct in Richmond on Richmond Road. Mark and Debbie, though, never fear. It is a generous day today for us. We are giving you family passes each to the Fire Gardens as part of Illuminate Adelaide, which does wrap up this weekend. So hopefully you can brace the cold and head along to Fire Gardens.
Apparently that's great. I've heard getting
in the
terrific
Botanics.
reviews.
Tonight may not be the night, but tomorrow night.
Saturday night.
Saturday night, Debbie and Mark. Winter nights are for Illuminate Adelaide. Explore a brave new world where cold nights and bold ideas collide. Tickets from illuminateadelaide.com. Coming up after the break, we're crossing over to the head of World Lamington Day, Kyton's Bakery, with Jade Robran. We'll check on the fuel situation and award our meat tray today, all thanks to my local butcher at Chanella's on Prospect Road. But first, here's your traffic.
Thanks, Lucy. A Golden Grove was smashed on the Grove Way near the Babbler track. Slow for works at Hallett Cove, Lonsdale Road near Majors Road, and getting busy at Port Adelaide for works at the moment, Commercial Road near Charlotten Street. A few cameras out already today. You'll find one Church Terrace at Walkerville and another one setting up Reed Avenue at Tranmere. What's for dinner? How about a Porto's whole chicken feed? Whole flame grilled chicken, 2 pita bread, 2 dipping sauces, and choice of share side. Just $28.95 at a Porto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Here's some great news from Darren and Chris at ACET Transport Solutions. They've just added crane trucks on their fleet. These rigid trucks have their own crane for safe loading and unloading, perfect for the big stuff. With over 20 years of experience and over 200 vehicles in their fleet, there's plenty of rigid crane trucks on deck ready for your next delivery. Whatever the load, ACET Transport Solutions will handle your delivery safely. Don't just send it, ACET. Don't just send it, ACET.
The critical part of any healthcare is the care. It's about being by your side when you and your loved ones need us most. Through late night fevers, through the rough and tumble of weekend sports, through weird rashes, mystery aches, and knowing in your heart that something's not quite right. From surgery to rehabilitation, through emergencies, mental illness, chronic diseases, and for better health. Your doctor cares. Let's take care of them too. Authorised by Dr. David Pope, Sasmoa, Adelaide.
Get ready to bring your energy to Westfield. As a proud official partner of the Australian Olympic and Paralympic teams, Westfield is set to transform into your local games village from July 26. That's next Friday. Head to your local Westfield for free activities, competitions, live music and more.
Plus, watch key events from the Paris Olympics and Paralympic Games on screen. Bring the whole family to cheer on our Australian athletes in the ultimate celebration of sport. For more info, visit your local Westfield website or social channels.
Head south as the all-new GWM Cannon Alpha has arrived at Southgate GWM Ranella. Larger, smarter and gutsier than ever. Australia's first ever full hybrid ute with a combined 255 kilowatts and 648 newton metres. Also available in a turbo diesel engine with 135 kilowatts and 480 newton metres. All with 3,500 kilo brake towing capacity. Head down to Southgate GWM, 49 Main South Road, Ranella.
Selected Austrac campers come fully installed with diesel heaters, so you can camp all year round. If the boss will let you.
I heard that.
I love you.
Austrac. Campers.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a range of models. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
Coming up after the 9 o'clock news is Matthew Pantelis, Jade Robrin in a moment as well, down there with Sharon at Kyton's Bakery. But let's check on the fuel situation. You'll struggle to get unleaded for less than $1.90 at the moment. Here are some cheaper options. United Main North Road in Paraka is $1.89. The United Henley Beach Road at Henley Beach, also $1.89. The OTR Seacombe Road in Seaview Downs, also $1.89. The cheapest diesel this morning is in Hindmarsh. The ex-convenience on Port Road sitting at $1.79 there in Hindmarsh. All thanks to RAA. Members save on RAA Solar. RAA Innovation Proprietary Limited, SA Building Licence number 319335. Now, Jade Robin, I'm hoping if she's answered the debate with Sharon if cream or jam is necessary in a Lamington. We shall find out in a moment. Jade joins us now on the road, all thanks to Dutton's. Hello, Jade.
Good morning. Yes, I am covering the big topics in life, and you have dragged me down here kicking and screaming to Kyton's Bakery. This Sunday is National Lamington Day. Sharon Sutton, owner of Kyton's Bakery, joins me. Happy National Lamington's Day.
Happy National Lamington Day.
Tell us, how would you recommend celebrating National Lamington's Day?
Grab a packet of Kyton's Lamingtons, of course, from your local Kyton stockist, and you can make them look pretty and add strawberries and cream, or just rip the packet open and enjoy them with family and friends.
Oh, Phil, I thought you were going to say sit down and eat as many as you as humanly possibly can. Where did a National Lamington Day come from?
That's a very good question. We think came from a large Lamington drive that was run in New South Wales a decade or two ago, but no one's really quite sure. But hey, let's face it, it's an excuse to eat Lamingtons, so let's have some fun.
Now, if you jump onto the Foodland Supermarkets live stream, you will see that I've taken some vision of all the beautiful lamingtons that Kyton's make. Now, you've got coffee, you've got the traditional flavour, you've also got the raspberry. Now, do you have cream with your lamingtons?
I do quite like, if we're having people over, to sort of fancy them up a little bit with some cream and some strawberries, but they're so soft and fluffy, they're yummy just on their own, so whatever takes your fancy.
Where did the recipe come from?
Kyton's has been making Lamingtons for decades, so the mid-1980s they started doing the Lamington drives. So we've been well known for our lamingtons ever since. But the recipe, I must say, I don't even know the recipe. That's kept with the bakers out the back.
Oh, the boss doesn't even know. Well, I like that secret. Now, where did the lamington come from? Because a little bit like the pavlova, I feel like the New Zealanders try to claim this one too.
They have, but I've never actually heard a plausible New Zealand story, whereas the story that's probably the most plausible is the governor of Queensland back in the late 1800s had unexpected guests. His cook only had some stale cake, so the cook chopped up the cake, put chocolate on it to make it a bit more tasty, and rolled it in coconut to keep the guests' fingers clean. So that is generally seen as the one that was the most plausible.
Excellent, let's run with that. 100% Aussie made. Now, you've got some really exciting news. Kyneton's Bakery is expanding.
We are in the process of moving into this building next door, so we'll be twice as big, and by the time you're all thinking about Christmas pudding in sort of November-ish, we will have a new shop and new cafe going in next door, so exciting times for us.
That is so exciting, and we love a good South Aussie success story. You've got so many goods. Of course, the lamingtons are the most favourite, but we've got choc chip cookies, macadamia choc chip cookies, all the beautiful family pies, and also apple crumbles that you make. Little secret out the back there, I just saw some apple crumble. Who do you make that for?
So that is a product that goes out to cafes and things. So you might well be, when you're having your apple strudel in a cafe, you may well be eating ours. So yeah, we do stuff for cafes as well as for retail customers. So we are quite diverse these days.
And also the yogurt shop. If you buy the apple crumbled yogurt, the crumble on top comes from you guys. So has all of that led to this big expansion? You've just got so much on your plate?
That's it. We've been bursting at the seams here for the last few years. So when the opportunity arose to take over the other half of the building, we're grabbing it with open arms. It's a little bit scary, doubling our size, but it's also very exciting for us to be able to expand and do more stuff and send our products in more places.
Sharon, congratulations. It is brekkie time. I can smell the coffee brewing and the cup of tea. Let's have a lamington, shall we? Be rude not to.
Absolutely. And yep, you've got to celebrate National Lamington Day.
See you guys.
Thank you, Jade. Always sending her off to the tricky jobs.
That sounds excellent. What a place to be too.
Thank you, Sharon from Kyneton's.
Oh, an apple crumble, apple strudel is my favourite sort of pastry as well.
I wasn't
know,
aware that
sacrilegious to say on World Lamington Day, but yeah, that's where you. So when you see it in your local cafe, often it's Kyneton's that are producing it.
Thank you all for your texts on the Dutton's text line this morning. All new Triton in stock for immediate delivery with great driveway deals at Dutton's Mitsubishi Murray Bridge. We were asking, of course, which politicians you think resemble certain movie characters after this happened from Ron DeSantis in the US.
We need a commander-in-chief who can lead 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
The meat tray this morning, all thanks to Chanella's, my local butcher, Liam, Joanna, and the whole team at Chanella's, 62 Prospect Road in Prospect. Who do we like, Will?
Oh, we had so many great entries. And oddly, the world of the cartoon started lending itself to many people's thoughts when it came to Australian politicians that reminded them of movie characters.
And a fair few Simpsons characters too, I might add.
Lots of Simpsons characters. Lots that comparisons then been made before. So I was really keen to give it to someone who'd come up with one that we'd never previously considered or talked about. And I really liked Shane early this morning, who said Paul Keating reminds him of Professor Snape from the Harry Potter series, one of the great characters of the series, the acerbic professor who there's a love-hate relationship with Harry, and when him admonishing Harry for stealing gillyweed or something sounds like Paul Keating lecturing the Australian government on this relationship with China. The tone of it is very similar. I thought it was very clever. Good on you, Shane. You've won the meat tray.
Shane in Brooklyn Park there. Just a reminder about the weather this morning. We had a text from Nicole who said it's been raining for about 20 minutes in the Boothby electorate already, just drizzling slowly.
She's out door knocking in the rain.
Outdoor knocking, Nicole Flint. Good morning to you. Let us know that it is raining where you are.
Well, we know she's not afraid of cold weather, Luce. She told me to toughen up that time on air when I was complaining about being cold. So she's got to, practice what she preaches, Nicole.
The radar just flashed up on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook live stream, which does show that front coming through. It's set to officially start sort of around 10 a.m. here in the city. It has started drizzling already. The wind expected to come in later this evening. A reminder to just check all your loose items out and about in your house. Tie them down so we don't have any flying trampolines.
Especially if you're in the hills.
Flying pergolas, flying branches like that. Don't park your cars under any branches, so please stay safe. They're out in the cool, wintry weather today. David will be back on Monday. Graham Goodings is... not Graham. I'm staring at you. You're not also your dad.
No.
Matthew Pantelis is back after 9 o'clock. Jess is in the news today. And David will be back from Monday at 6 a.m.
Your local IGA's